Yo, what's up, lads? How we doing? Welcome, everybody. Where's everybody? Where's everybody tuning in from? What country? The fabulous Toronto, Canada. North Carolina stand. That's funny. Oh, guys, I totally fucked up. So I tried taking tirzepatide. Holy shit! I have the worst fucking heartburn. Oh my God, it hurts so bad. It's hurt for like 3 days. It's so terrible. So I'm like powering through this right now. It's just a legitimate pain. How much do you take? Dude, 1/10 the normal starting dose. I took 0.25 milligrams. 0.25. Why are you taking turbo? You're right, because I'm trying to get to like 12% body fat and get like turbo shredded. Jacob, did it work? Oh yeah, but the way it works is that it hurts so bad that I'm like scared to eat. Like that's how it works. Like, holy shit. This is the literal worst thing I've ever done. I'm never taking that again. But yeah, I'm probably like 15% body fat now. I'm trying to get shredded. Yeah, Brian, I guess some people handle it much better than I'm a turbo responder to any kind of substance whatsoever, like including alcohol. Like I'll be like drunk off 3 drinks. It's always been like that my entire life. I was did you consider Retta? I was taking Retta first, and I was kind of had the same issue on Reddit, but then I took tirzepatide, which says more GLP, and that just like absolutely annihilated me. Oh my God, it's the worst, bro. So bad. All right, cool. So we got 120 people in here right now. About 500 of you guys who bought tickets. It was just under 500. All right, I'm gonna go ahead. I think Christian's joining up here in a minute too. But I'm gonna go. I'm gonna start sharing my screen. Can everybody see this? All right, cool. Cool. Sounds good, guys. All right, so welcome to the AI Business Challenge over the next 4 days. So is what we're going to talk about. So day one is offers. So today we're talking about how offers work, what to sell to clients, how to construct the offer so you can successfully sell them, how to pick a niche and the math behind it, and how to use AI to find those niches. And I'm going to give you guys like giant Google sheets of shit. So it's gonna be cool. Day two tomorrow is gonna be about running your business with AI and agents. So it's gonna be like live building stuff with Lucas and Andre. They're gonna talk about like systems and ops and whatnot. Um, so that'll be all tomorrow. Now Christian's here. What's up, Christian? Um, Day three is gonna be about booking calls and closing deals. So Christian's gonna be teaching you guys day three, and it's gonna be about like what do you say in your outreach to even get somebody to book a call with you in the first place. And my class today kind of plays into that in a bit because what matters there is your offer. And then also Dan is gonna be talking with you guys and explain how to close deals. So like how to conduct a sales call at all. Um, and then day four, it's gonna come back to me. We're gonna talk about some like advanced AI tactics and also mindset. So I'm gonna kind of walk you guys through what I do in my day to day and how I do it with AI and like how I build funnels and where AI slots into the production of those things. And then I'm also going to finish it off by talking about mindset because I think it's important, an important aspect to learn about because I've just observed so many people who have both failed and succeeded, and I've observed like what is happening in their head, and I kind of know like what people are thinking, and so I want to increase the probability that you guys actually get some results. So you will get recordings for each of the classes. a couple hours after the class is done. You're also going to get the Gamma docs for each class. That's also going to be in that same Google Drive. I'm going to send you guys a link to. These will be sent to you via email. I promise you they're in your inbox. I promise you they're there. I always get so many emails of where are the recordings, where are the recordings. They're there. I promise you they're there. Just look up all the emails from Daniel at clientcenter.com and they'll be there. Okay, cool. So again, I'm class 1 and class 4. Lucas is class 2. Andre is also class 2. Christian, who's on here with me right now, is going to be class 3. And then Dan is also going to be class 3. So going to do our absolute best here to give you guys as much value as possible. I prefer that you feel like this is worth like 10 or 20 times what you paid for it. So some quick credibility here. Here's screenshots of us. We've made $30 million since January 2022. We took a lead gen agency to 100K a month, morph that into our company ListKit. ListKit's probably like 600, 700K a month now. It also sells done for you offers. But we run now is Client Ascension and ListKit. Things we previously run, Christian, Andre, Dan, their lead gen agency was KnowledgeX. I ran another software company called Clean Leads, another one called QuickLines, two sending softwares called Maility and Mailerize, Contact Ecom, Scrape Info, and then maybe some of you guys have followed the account Cold Email Wizard. It was a long time ago, but I sold this course called Cold Email Mastery to 8,000 people. It's probably one of the best courses of all time in terms of feedback and results. So we started all these things straight out of college. And from the moment I started my first agency, which was an Instagram growth agency, it took me 5 months to hit my first $10,000 profit month. After that, it took me another 6 months to hit a $20,000 profit month. And then after that, it was 4 months to hit my first $100,000 profit month. But I always screwed around with stuff when I was younger, right? So I think it's important that like a lot of you guys might see people who seem like they're making a bajillion dollars online in like 2 months or something like that. Like, don't be discouraged by that. That's a lot of times. One is that they're either lying or it's fake, or that they've actually been screwing around with stuff for a really, really long time prior to that. So, like, if I were to launch something new right now, I could probably have it at 100 grand a month in like 2 months. But that's just because I've done it already. Once you've done something, it becomes substantially easier than doing it for the first time, right? So since that time, about 7 years ago, I've not gone a single month where I made less than 50,000 in take home income. Why am I sharing that? Because I was the same person as a lot of you guys are not that long ago. Like I'm not like a special wizard who has hand delivered 10 clients. Like it did not work like that. There was no network I sold into. There was no like, oh, I had a rich dad who gave me a bunch of his rich business owner friends as clients. Like I also had to sell to cold traffic, like people who don't know me at all, and like no family business, even that, like nobody in my family is an entrepreneur. I was the first one. So you need to remove whatever piece of doubt you have in your mind that's telling you that this is impossible for you, that is complete bullshit. You made it up and it has no basis in reality. Right. So like what I'm talking about here today about constructing offers, it's like, how do you sell to someone who doesn't know you? There's no network, there's no introduction, there's no social media followers. It's straight up just, this is a stranger. How do you get a stranger to pay you thousands of dollars? And that's hard. And I'm going to try to simplify that as much as possible today for you guys. So, real quick, this is the schedule. So we're right here right now. Monday, 5 p.m. is going to go to like 7 to 7:30, probably something like that. Tuesday is going to be definitely to at least 7:30. Wednesday's the same. And then on Wednesday, what we're going to do is Dan is going to pitch you guys a special offer that we put together. There's special pricing and there's special bonuses. And then I also am going to do the same thing on Thursday. It'll be the same exact one. Let's just make sure more people see it, because there tends to be a drop off of people who don't show up to Thursday after. There's a linear drop off each day. So you can stay if you want to see the special offer. If you don't want to be pitched, you can just leave. That's completely fine. But there's really good pricing, and there are bonuses that we have not offered to anybody ever before, including other challenges. So maybe you've been on another challenge before. Probably like one of the last two, and there were bonuses there, but now there's more bonuses, so you can get those. So you can stay for those and see the pitch if you'd be interested in that. But it's a really good offer. So, um, will we be cut off from the rest of it if we don't have Zoom Pro? No, no, you're good. I'm paying for the Zoom room here. I'm paying like fucking $2,000 to have this. Okay. So before we start, I want to know what's everybody's life situation. So do you run a business or are you just starting out? So put a 1 in the chat if you run a business, and 2 in the chat if you're just starting out. Well, it's a pretty even split. There's a very even split. That's very interesting. Okay. So a lot of people in here. Just real quick, throw it in the chat. And the reason I'm having you throw it in the chat is so you can like actually commit to the intention here. What is your motivation for doing this? Like, if you have a job, do you want to quit it, or you just want more time freedom, or do you want to get like filthy rich and know that you need to have a highly successful business to do that? The cash flow maxing. So like, what's driving you guys more, freedom or getting rich? It tends to be most people are saying freedom, which is also what I was. I just didn't want to work for somebody else. I worked at the Publix bakery, and I would like clean dishes and mop the floors and shit. I hated it. I hated it so much. It's the worst. And I did customer service for Apple. So you can imagine like how low IQ you have to be to, result in like I would get shit like people didn't even know how to click the buttons on the screen. It was the fucking worst thing ever. Um, I hated it. I did not want to do like manual labor working for somebody else. So like my intention was freedom, was time freedom. And then once I had that, I was like, well, let me just try to get rich now. So that's probably what'll happen to a lot of you guys. All right, so before we begin, today's class is like it's like foundations, right? We're talking about the foundations of how business works and what you sell, right? So every day after the challenge, you're going to get a little bit more tactical. And we'll be diving into live AI automation builds and whatnot, but just got to set the groundwork so you guys understand, because this like offers are so important, because if you're trying to sell something that nobody wants to buy, it doesn't matter how good your outreach is or how good your sales calls are or how much of a wizard you are with AI. It literally doesn't matter. No one's going to buy it. You need to sell something that cold traffic buys. That's the only way you have any hope whatsoever at all. If you don't do that, there's a 0% chance you are successful in any capacity. Like flat out, will not happen. So why I gotta go in like a little introductory tirade of like what you actually sell and what you should not sell, more importantly. So like, who here knows what Y Combinator is? Just put a 1 in the chat if you know what Y Combinator is. All right, cool. So they released a memo. It basically said, we're looking to fund more full stack AI companies. And he goes, what's a full stack AI company? He goes, suppose you believe that LLMs are now able to automate a lot of legal work. There are 2 things you might do with that idea. You could build an AI agent and sell it to law firms. That's what most people would think of to do. Or you could start your own law firm, staff it with AI agents, and compete with existing law firms. That, my friends, is going full stack, and basically that's what we want to invest in. So they're actively telling you they don't want to invest in the business that sells the AI agent to a law firm. They want to invest in the businesses that just are the law firm and then use AI themselves, right? So what we are doing is applying this to the marketing agency. Why? Because you don't need to employ licensed attorneys. You don't need to conduct law in a courtroom. You don't need to do it. You don't need to pass the bar exam. Anyone can just decide to sell marketing services, like from any location on the planet at any age. It's just it's really quite simple. It's you have a deliverable that you generate, ideally with AI, and you sell the result that deliverable generates. That's it. That is the barometer of whether you can run a successful marketing agency, as to whether the deliverables you produce a result for the clients. And if a client gets a result, they will pay you progressively more and more money for more results. That's how that works. It's really that simple. So I renamed this as an AI assisted agency. Why? Because the fundamental deliverable of what you deliver to your client as your product, like the reason this works is because what you deliver fundamentally is text based. It's sales pages, emails, video scripts, ad scripts, systems or build outs, right? If we were to make like a hypothetical picture of like what people think of when they say sell AI, this is like what it is. So you got over here on the left, low technical ability required. That's an AI assisted agency. That's like what we're talking about. Then you would have an AI automation agency. Then you would have a company that sells an LLM. Then you would have a company that sells GPUs and electricity. Then you would have a company that sells semiconductors. You know, so it's just down the line of like somehow a semiconductor becomes you getting paid to sell a sales page. Get what I'm saying? So an AI automation agency can also be considered an AI assisted agency, but you're not building AI tools or like you're not selling AI or doing like engineering level work or something. You're taking what is already built and then executing systems for people. And they don't see what you're doing with AI. You're not selling an AI system. You're selling the result and you just happen to use AI yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, so if you imagine electricity, you're flipping light switches for clients. Like you're not building power lines or wiring houses, right? So real quick, how many people in here have seen ads from people online telling you that you can get rich selling AI tools like voice agents and chatbots? Put a one in the chat if you've seen that. Okay. That does not work. That's not real. That doesn't actually happen. Here's why. Because an AI chatbot doesn't deliver a result. It doesn't do anything. Can I increase the font size? Yeah, let me zoom in a little bit. It doesn't deliver a result. So when you go to sell an AI chatbot, it's so easy to do that, and there's zero risk involved in it. You can sell it like anybody can spin up an AI chatbot. And so the true value price when the supply is that high is like $1. Like I'm sure you could sell an AI chatbot for $1, but like no one's paying you $1,000 or $2,000 for an AI chatbot. It's not happening. It doesn't deliver a result. You need to be you need to have an offer where you are responsible for delivering a concrete result. That's what I'm going to show you here, right? Okay, so first I want to go through like why businesses buy things and what you can sell them. So quick definitions here. B2B means business to business. That could be like CRM, like CRM software, project management software, marketing and advertising services, professional services like accounting or legal. B2C means business to consumer. So that'd be like anything you'd buy off Amazon. So like food, gaming, Uber, hotels, beauty products, gyms, entertainment like movies or YouTube Premium, anything sold, clothes that's sold to an individual consumer, right? There are only now next, there are only two resources you have available as a human right now. There are only two things that you can expend. Time, money. That's it. You have nothing else. There's the only two, it's currency. And there are only two types of products you can sell: physical products and services. Services require time, products require money because they're physical. B2B services are expensive and are fulfilled with time. Therefore, your business model is selling services to B2B companies. This means you also are a B2B company because you sell to businesses. So you're a B2B service company selling to other B2B service or B2B product companies because you can sell this shit for very expensive prices. And that's the only reason why we picked this B2Bception. Yeah. Now, before we proceed, I want to establish something. So just because I want to understand to like what AI is and what it is not. The inception of the internet was the automation of data transfer. Like that's it. That's all it was. It's nothing else besides that. So it even like every software on the planet is a database software. All of it. Like right now, you're using Zoom. Like this is me uploading video to a database, and you're downloading the video from the database. Like you scroll Instagram, it's a database of pictures. Every SaaS company on the planet is just a database. That's it. It's the entire thing, right? So, say for instance, it's like 1850. You're in New York City. You own a bank. You got 4 branches. At the end of each workday, you got to get in a horse, meet up with all the managers of each bank branch, and reconcile your books together so people weren't taking out more money than they actually had. So if they had $1,000 in their account, you need to make sure they didn't take 1,000 from one branch and go take another 1,000 out from the next branch the next day. You know what I'm saying? When phones became a thing, they didn't have to ride the horses to meet up every day. They just called each other, right? And then they would write in all their books. When the internet became a thing, they started using instantly updating databases, right? You withdraw from an ATM anywhere on the planet, and it's going to reflect on your app within like a millisecond, right? So what then is AI? It's the automation of cognition. So say, for instance, the year's 2026, and you run a LinkedIn ghostwriting business where you write LinkedIn posts for a client and they pay you $1,000 a month. You have to make 5 long form posts per week for them. So back in 2023 or 2024, or even most of 2025, you had to sit and manually do that. Like you needed to come up with the actual idea of the post and write the thing out manually, right? And if you wanted to scale this business, you needed to hire other people who would do that for you. But the problem with this is that they needed to be a good writer. And that's not just, you don't just like find a good writer. Like people always say this sometimes, they're like, just hire someone. Like you don't just hire someone. Like if it was so easy to just hire an expert who knows how to do it, then everyone would be a fucking millionaire. Like no shit. Like you just hire someone. It's like the activity of finding someone is difficult. They're scarce. Like it's not a common thing. You know what I'm saying? So they had to understand what makes a post do good. Like they needed to have marketing skills themselves. Like they couldn't just be a VA in the Philippines because they need to be fluent in culture and understand culturally relevant English, right? So to scale this business to reach like 10K a month in profit, you needed to be making like 30K a month in revenue because the only people that could actually do the job right were people who cost like 3 or 4 grand a month, and sometimes more. And those people can only handle 4 or 5 clients, which means the cost to fulfill a client was $750 to $1,200, but you're charging $1,000 a month, so that doesn't make any economic sense. It was just really hard. It was difficult to do that, right? Like you literally couldn't scale this business. Like the numbers don't work. You don't make enough. It's this was way too hard. But now with AI, it looks a little bit different, right? So instead of manually hiring people to write LinkedIn posts for you, you copy 50 to 200 LinkedIn posts from influencers that have already performed well, feed that into an LLM or an agent, feed another document on it with information about your client, and have it create posts for your client based off your client's knowledge. Now, you can create an entire month's worth of content for a client in 30 seconds with like 1 to 3 hours of quality checking instead of 15 hours of manual writing. Right? This means you alone can handle like 10 or 20 clients. And you'll be seeing stuff like this in the next couple classes, like how to apply shit like this, right? Right. So before we proceed, Yusuf goes, isn't this the same problem as the chatbot? Anyone can whip this up. Yusuf, it this is always interesting when I try to convey this to people. You can't just hand somebody something and it just works. Like because they don't do anything with it. Like what you're thinking right now, Yusuf, is well, if I had an AI agent, Daniel, that was really good at writing YouTube video scripts for you, or writing LinkedIn posts for you, like you would pay me for that and it's like that's not the point. That's not what I would pay you for, because I'm too busy to even sit and fuck with it myself. Like, I don't want a chatbot to fuck with it and pick what posts work and do the post editing and scheduling the posts and responding to the comments and shit. You think like what happens when you still haven't run a bit, and everyone who is a business owner who's doing like 20 or 30K a month understands what I'm saying. Like, the reason why business owners want to buy done for you services at 50 times the rate of courses is because they're busy. There's not enough mental energy available left to expend in the day. Like, I am so fucking tired right now. Like, I'm busy. I have shit to do. Like, I don't want to get off here and fuck with the LinkedIn thing. Like, I don't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? It takes time to manage something. Like, here's what I want to get. Imagine you are the owner of a McDonald's, right? And there's now AI robots that do all the burger flipping and the order taking and shit, right? You still need a manager for the McDonald's. That's what you, as an agency owner, are selling: the management service for the McDonald's. You're literally going to what is the equivalent of corporate McDonald's and saying, I will run the management service to install and just manage the day-to-day operations of this system that happens to use a bunch of AI bots. That's what you're doing. That's what this business model is, right? Okay, so before we proceed, I want to like the difference. You understand the difference between an LLM and an agent. An LLM is just a large language model. It's just text. Like, you put this in and it just generates text out. An agent is something that can conduct autonomous action, and it's the combination of, you said earlier that the internet is the automation of data transfer and AI is the automation of cognition. An agent is the combination of the automation of data transfer and cognition. So it's as close to a human as you can get. It can do things. You know what I'm saying? So let's proceed to understand, like, the only reason people actually ever buy anything at all, right? Businesses are entities run by humans, right? Therefore, we need to understand that the reason a business buys something is to appease the humans running it, to reach their end goals of the humans running it. So when we come up with what we need to sell people, we need to think about how we can appeal to the selfish needs of the human running the business or the decision maker that you were speaking to, right? And there's only 3 reasons anybody buys anything. We have health. So buying this will make them feel better, look better, live longer, and or avoid physical pain. Right? I was just saying that I have like insane heartburn earlier in the waiting room. I was like, damn, I would pay like $1,000 to make that go away right now. Right? Love. Buying this will result in me getting more dates, getting married, and procreating. Wealth is buying this will deliver a return on investment that results in me being richer than I was before. These are the only reasons anyone buys anything at all. There is zero other reason you buy anything ever that does not ultimately stem to one of these. That's it. But because we will be selling B2B services, 99% of the cases here for you guys are going to be appeasing to the selfish wants to acquire wealth. All of the most successful businesses on the planet appease to any of these. So connection, belonging and attraction, that's dating, beauty, communities, comfort, it's enjoyment, satisfactions, food, travel, wellness. And these ones in bold right here, these are the ones that you guys are going to be focused on. Growth or greed. People want prosperity and achievement. Make money offers, agency services, coaching, business tools, investing, freedom. So that's sloth and greed, right? Simplicity and leverage, automation, SaaS, convenience. you guys remember earlier, or literally just like 10 minutes ago, I said, like, put in the chat, why do you want to be here? Is it freedom or is it to get rich? And everyone put an answer, right? And even when it was a free form answer, everyone was saying like there's some reason that stemmed back to like you being able to have prosperity and achievement or simplicity and leverage. Like that's all it was. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm trying to convey is we need to not treat the person you're selling to like they're an idiot. So what I mean by that is sometimes people will try to sell an offer to a business owner. They'll spin up an agency and they say shit like no, I'm not gonna like I'm not gonna like I'm not gonna promise you any kind of result. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna do that. And then they're like, why isn't anybody buying? And I'm like, because what you said to them has not convinced them that they're going to make more money. That's the only reason they're gonna buy is if they truly and honestly, with all their heart, absolutely positively believe that they're gonna get something that makes them more money. You know what I'm saying? So basically, what you got to remember is you got to appeal to their greed and sloth, right? The people you're selling to want to get rich and do nothing. And the best way for you to get rich and make money is to help people with money make more money. So there's a saying, I think, I don't know what famous copywriter it's from. I think it's Claude Hopkins or some bullshit like that. He says, the prospect isn't stupid, they're your wife. What is that conveying? It's conveying that, like, a lot of you guys, you're trying to scoot around, like, promising a result to a business owner and your offers. And you're like, no, I'll still make sales. And it's like, that's literally you, like, treating the prospect like they're stupid. You know what I'm saying? So I was on a consulting call. This is a couple days ago. And I was talking to the guy, and he comes on, and he's been selling like a video marketing. Like he does like video production and shit like that. And he's basically telling me, he's like, dude, I'm about to like run out of money in this business. Like it's not working anymore because he's spending money on ads. He wasn't getting any results with ads because his whole business career at this point has been selling to warm traffic, right? People who like referrals and shit. And he spent a bunch of money on ads. He's losing all his money. He's like, I need an offer that works on ads and a cold traffic offer. And he's like, it's funny because he's saying this thing. He comes on and he says this. It's so interesting to me. He goes, I just need something that books a lot of calls and makes me money really fast. And I'm like, wow, that's fucking hilarious. You just said that because do you know what the business owners that you're advertising to and trying to get on the phone also want? And he's like, what? I'm like, to get a lot of calls booked really fast and to get a lot of cash in the bank very quickly. And he's like, well, I can't do that. I'm like, well, then why are you asking me that? You're on this right now. You bought this offer to try and get a lot of calls booked really fast and make a lot of money really fast. And then you're out here trying to sell your shit to a business owner and it doesn't get them a lot of calls booked and make them a lot of money. Like, do you not see the disconnect here? So he starts showing me his offers that he came up with, and they're not offers. They're products. It's like unlimited video editing. I'm like, bro, nobody wants unlimited video editing. Nobody is in the market for unlimited video editing. They're in the market for, I need 30 calls booked this month and I need to close 5 new deals so I can make $30,000. So why are you, and I'm like, dude, you've tried all, like, is everyone following me? But just put a one in the chat if this is making sense to everyone, where you're like, oh, okay, I'm starting to get it now. Okay, dope. Because you can't make this mistake. It's like it's a very selfish way of thinking about business, where it's like no one just gives you money for fuck all no reason. Like that's like this does not occur. So like, let me give you another example. This happens very often. It's very interesting. So let's say there's a lead gen agency owner and they book calls for their clients by sending cold emails. Say they're charging $250 per call booked to their clients. Now, most companies on the planet have shitty offers that are impossible to sell to cold traffic, right? So anybody in here running a lead generation agency, put a 2 in the chat. Yeah, so we got a lot of people. All right, so you guys, you run a lead generation agency. How often is it that you can't get results for a client because they have a dog shit offer? It's literally just garbage. A lot. Every client so far. Yeah, a lot. Yeah, it's pretty common occurrence where it's like clients generally don't have cold traffic offers themselves, right? So it's hard to get a certain quantity of, so you're always gonna have clients you can't get results for. Like that's a given. That's gonna happen. Like don't be afraid of it, right? What normally happens is that if you have a small minority of your clients who get all of the results, like extreme levels of results, right? But most clients don't get really good results because they have dog shit businesses, right? So what this means is that a lot of times when this is happening to a lead gen agency owner, they'll come to me and they'll say, I want to switch to retainer and get paid $5,000 per month instead of $250 a call. And I go, well, that's interesting. And they say, because so I ask why, and they go, because a lot of my clients don't get results. And I go, huh? And you think you're going to get them to pay you $5,000 up front, and they're not going to be angry and ask for a refund when you book them 0 calls. So basically what you're trying to do is scam them. So this whole thought process is under the assumption that the prospect is an idiot. Like they won't notice you booked them no calls. Get what I'm saying? A client is not going to hear you say, I charge $5,000 a month, and not ask, how many calls is that going to get me? Like, who in here, if I tell you, I'm going to sell you a done for you lead gen offer for $5,000, how many of you, just put a 1 in the chat, would ask how many calls you're going to get booked? Yeah. Okay. So every single fucking person in the room. But okay. So like again, like we have to stop treating the prospect like they're a retard. You get what I'm saying? Because they're not. Like it's like they're like, you know what I'm saying here? Like it's an irresponsible thing to even think that this would work. You know what I'm saying? Now, could you get somebody to pay you $5,000 up front and get them to understand that, like, hey, there's not a 100% chance this works, and like if it doesn't work, I'm not giving you your money back. So like the risk is on you. Are you able to do that? Yeah, that happens. You're able to get clients to do that, but not cold traffic. Not cold traffic. You could do that with warm traffic, referrals, or people who know, like, and trust you. Maybe you got a giant YouTube channel or a big Instagram or a giant LinkedIn or an X account or a big email list, and there's people who have been following you for years, and they know, like, and trust you, right? Yeah, no, this is interesting. So Jacob says you can scam warm traffic. Okay, so but then it comes back and it goes, well, Jacob, is it really scam if I told them, like, hey, I think the probability that you get results for your specific offer is pretty low, and I don't think you should do this. I genuinely don't think that you should buy this offer. And then they tell you, no, I want to try. Like, I might lose money, and like I don't care. But okay, well, I'm letting you know up front. I do not think this is going to work for you. I wouldn't call that scamming. And that's what you should be doing, by the way. You should be rejecting people. Now, when you have a client, you can easily book 30 or 40 or 50 calls per month for. You are not gonna want to switch them from 250 a call to 5,000 a month. That's gonna cap your earnings. Why would you want to voluntarily, if you can book them 50 calls a month at $250 each, why do you want to lower the amount of money you make? Like, again, it comes back to, like, you can't, like, everybody is aware of all of the numbers occurring. You know what I'm saying? So the actual trick to making money is not scalping money off of shitty businesses. It's not collecting money from a bunch of people who are not going to get results. It's by getting easy, big results for companies that are easy to get results for in the first place. Now, are you in your business career gonna sign a bunch of clients and not get results for them as you learn and develop the skill of what you're selling and learn what kind of clients you are personally able to get results for? Are you gonna fuck some of those deals up? Yeah. You're gonna give some refunds. It's gonna happen. Like, budget for that. Don't spend the money. Get what I'm saying? I'm in staffing for 9 to 5. This happens all the time. Yeah. Yeah. If everyone here has a job right now, like, your company probably gives refunds to people all the time. You know what I'm saying? That is the cost of learning. This is the tuition you pay. There is no, like, you just have to do it. You know what I'm saying? It is going to happen. Right? So now, with that in mind, with the understanding of how that all works, let's talk about front end cold traffic offers. So, what is that? Like, how do you get a stranger, like a complete fucking stranger? All right, wait, put a 2 in the chat if you've never got a complete stranger, like you didn't know him like a week ago, to pay you a couple $1,000s, like become a client. 2 in the chat if you've never got a stranger to pay you thousands of dollars. It looks like most people in here. Okay, put a 1 in the chat if you have. Ones. Yeah, way more 2s than 1s. 1 then had to refund because didn't get a client. Yeah. Okay, so of the people who were successfully able to do it, I'm gonna break down how to accelerate the fuck out of that. And for the people who put a 2, I'm gonna show you what you haven't been doing, what you need to start doing right now. Okay, so you can basically categorize all offers into 2 categories. 1 is a back end or a warm traffic offer, and 2 is a front end or cold traffic offer. So a back end or warm traffic offer is something that can generally only be sold to people who already know, like, or trust you. And a front end cold traffic offer is something that can be successfully sold to somebody who does not know you or like you or trust you yet. So, quick exercise. Who in here is warm traffic? Put a 1 in the chat if you already know, like, and trust me. I would expect it's about like 60% of people in here, or 70%. Okay, no. Put a 2 in the chat if you're cold traffic, like you don't really know me at all. Okay, cool. 2s. Yeah, it's a pretty substantial amount of 2s, more than normal. Yep. Okay, so now what you bought is, I'll kind of get into this in a second, but I just want to tirade on it for a sec. What you bought is a product, you got it for $47 at early bird, or $67 after early bird, and it had a money back guarantee on it. That was enough for you to buy. Also, there are a shit ton of case studies on the screen where I was showing people making like 30K a month, 50K a month. Those are my students in the AI assisted agency program. And maybe you watched through some of those. Maybe you went and looked my name up on Google and you went into my YouTube and you watched something just to get confirmation that I'm not a bullshit artist. Maybe you've looked me up on LinkedIn before just to confirm I'm not like an outright scammer. Like a lot of you probably did that before you even paid $47 or $67, and there was a money back guarantee, and that probably pushed you over the line. Yeah, Kenneth did that. You know what I'm saying? Now, again, if we go back to the premise we were speaking about before, where we can't treat the prospect like a retard, the prospect is going to do the same thing that you did to me, to you. Now, I understand. Yeah, I used AI to research you and see what info I could find out about you. Yeah, they're going to probably do that about you too. Right? So now this poses a problem because a lot of you guys, if you're just getting started, like you don't have 150 YouTube videos and 34,000 subscribers and 15,000 on X and maybe another 10,000 on LinkedIn and like 52 case studies. Like you don't have that yet. And you like or been in business for 5 years or so like what do we do? What do we do to resolve that? Because they're going on ChatGPT and they're looking you up. Like how do we make this okay? Right? So that's what this is about, right? So now I want to give a quick anecdote before we get into like the formulaic construction of a cold traffic offer. So on the very first AI business challenge, so this is in November. I think it was in November. I was talking to a guy and he paid $50,000 to start an AI business from some who in here has paid like a couple thousands of dollars for like an AI business opportunity coaching thing. Just put a one in the chat if you paid like at least like 1,000 or 2,000 or $3,000 for some AI business fuckery. Okay, yeah, pretty good amount of you, right? Okay, so who here has heard of this offer? Database reactivation. Put a 2 in the chat if you've heard of that. All right, yeah. Okay. Who in here's tried selling that? Yeah, you seen it's BS me. Okay. All right. There is a 0% probability you will ever get a client for this offer, ever. So I want you to imagine this. Okay, real quick. Who in here has a CRM with maybe like 5,000 leads in it at least? Like just put a 1 in the chat if you have a CRM with at least like a couple thousand leads in it because you've been in business for a while and there's just like hella leads sitting in there. Oh yeah, so there's like 5 of you. All right. Now Garrett, Christine, Diego, Dex, Lowell, Omar, Christopher. Okay. Imagine some dude sends you a cold email and he's like, "Hey, I can send emails to your list as a database reactivation offer, and you pay me $250 per call I book for you." What are you going to say to that? Yo, Christine, Daniel. Garrett, Diego, Dex. I will no show him. I'll do it myself. Ignore, no. Yeah. Say I can do that myself. Okay, yeah, exactly. What you just said. You'll say I can do that myself. Like, okay, yeah, that exactly. Okay. So this guy came to me and said he was having a hard time getting clients, and I'm like, yeah, dude, no shit, because like you don't fucking do anything. Fucking like who's gonna pay for that? Like what? And I was like, yeah, I bet you are, because that's not a viable business model. There's a 0% chance that's ever going to work. So he was obviously distraught at this because he just paid some dickhead 50 grand to learn the business, right? So here's the thing. This sounds like it would work on paper. It mathematically should, but in actual practice, there's not a single human on the planet who has ever successfully sold this offer to cold traffic, even once ever. The only way you ever get somebody to buy this is if they already know you, right? This is the kind of offer where you get a client because your dad runs a giant business or has a bunch of rich colleagues who don't know any better, and they just hand you business on a silver platter. But I'll assume that none of you have that. So we are concerned with closing cold traffic. If you can close cold traffic, you will never be broke ever. If you could just spawn money out of thin air, right? It is single-handedly the most powerful skill on the planet, right? So back to the reactivation offer. Why doesn't cold traffic buy it? Because it's not new money. Cold traffic doesn't think you scalping money off of something they already have is appealing. They already have the lead list. They already have the database. Those are their leads. Those are their inbound leads. They've got for 3, 4, 5, 10 years. They're not going to pay you money to send an email to them. The reality is that 90% of offers people tell you to sell are not front-end cold traffic offers. They only work if you have previous clients or a giant audience who already knows and likes and trusts you. Get what I'm saying? So, what do? You need to appendage a front-end cold traffic offer in front of warm traffic offers. So, don't worry in a minute. I'm gonna give you examples of front-end cold traffic offers that actually work. But let me give you an example. Who here has watched this case study on my YouTube channel where Ravi hit 66K a month in 4 months? Put a 1 in the chat if you've watched that. Okay, so when we started working together, he had a single SEO client. He was making like $1,000 a month. He was doing hundreds of pieces of outreach to try and get clients for the SEO offer, but it wasn't working. None of the client acquisition strategies all the gurus told him to do worked, right? Nobody was booking calls, no matter what he did, right? So someone might come and say, like, say you were Ravi, like the vast majority of the population would be like, oh yeah, cold email doesn't work. LinkedIn outreach doesn't work. Ads don't work. None of that works. It's like, no, you're just trying to sell an offer to cold traffic that cold traffic doesn't buy, right? So I had to make a new front-end cold traffic offer to sell instead of his SEO offer. And that's what got him these results. 66K a month in 4 months, right? Now he's over like 120K a month or some bullshit like that. Okay. Why? Because SEO is not a front-end cold traffic offer. It literally does not work to try to sell it to cold traffic. But then he made an ads and funnels agency where he'll make funnels for clients and run ads to those funnels, obviously, like most of which is fulfilled through AI. Then, of the clients who buy that, he then upsells SEO to them after a couple months. This increases his LTV. So, this is what it looked like before. So, he was selling to cold traffic. He was trying to push cold traffic onto SEO. It's not a front-end cold traffic offer. It doesn't work. You don't sign any clients. After, he starts pushing cold traffic to a funnel build offer. And then now he's actually signing people on funnel builds. And then of the people who buy funnel builds, 10 to 20% of them buy the SEO upsell. So he actually ends up signing more SEO clients from not selling SEO on the front end. Totally valid way to scale a business, because this way, trying to just bang your head up against the wall of something that isn't going to work, like flat out just has a 0% probability of ever working, that's not going to get you anywhere. But this will. So here's the reality. And I want this to be one of those phrases that sticks with you forever, for the rest of your life, because it'll always serve you. We don't get to choose what sells. We, as business owners, are in the business of making money. Our job is to sell what people buy. We don't make up something new. We don't do this brand new shiny object. We look at what is already selling, and then we also sell that. And we do our best to make it better. That's what we do. Right? How do we know what is already selling well? That's what I'm here to show you, my friend. Okay, so client lifetime value. Let me talk about this real quick. All business is just an equation between CAC and LTV/LTGP. CAC is cost to acquire a customer. LTV is lifetime value. LTGP is lifetime gross profit. So CAC is just a function of how much you spend to acquire a customer. So in both time and money. Remember we said earlier, you only have two resources, time and money. You have to expend time and or money to get a customer. Because time is just a different form of money. Because if you were to replace yourself, you would need to do so with money. Therefore, expending time to acquire a customer is still a cost. Lifetime value is how much you will make from a client through their entire life cycle of being a customer of yours. If you charge $2,000 a month and your average client will stay for 5 months before churning, this means your lifetime value is 2,000 times 5 equals $10,000, right? Very straightforward, right? Okay, lifetime gross profit is just applying your gross profit margin to that. So the direct incremental cost to fulfill. So say you had 20% cost to fulfill your goods. That will mean your LTGP is $8,000, right? Now let's say your CAC to get a customer is $1,000. That will mean your ROI, your LTGP of $8,000 divided by 1,000 is 8x. You know what I'm saying? But it would also mean that you only have a take-home profit of $600 in the first month because $1,000 CAC is paid immediately. Then you collect $2,000 from the customer. Then you have 20% cost to fulfill, which means your take-home is 2,000 minus 1,000 minus 2,000 times 0.2, which is 600. Then you make all of the profit as the customer continues being a customer of yours. So how do you get rich? By increasing lifetime value. That is how you actually do that. But what are the mechanisms of how that even occurs? You can reduce churn. You can offer downsells, or you can implement upsells. And that's it. Those are the only three things you can do here. You either sell more stuff or get people to keep paying you for the stuff they're already paying for. Those are the only available options. Let's just say that for every 4 hours of outreach that you do, you're able to acquire one $2,000 a month client. And we're going to quantify your 4 hours of labor as being $1,000. So your worth is $250 an hour. So that would mean your CAC is $1,000. We'll also see your gross margin is 80%. Your average client stays for 5 months. So you have an LTGP of $8,000 or an 8x ROI on your client acquisition efforts. So this is what this would look like. So your outreach and sales, 4 hours of work, $1,000 of labor cost means a CAC of $1,000 with the LTGP of 8K, so your ROI is 8x. We'll then assume you add an upsell that 40% of your customers take. This upsell is another $2,000 a month, and the people who buy that also pay for that offer for another 5 months. So the additional LTGP added to 40% of your customers is another $8,000. So that means your LTGP goes up from 8,000 to 11,200. And let's also say you add a downsell to the people who are churning, and that 40% of the people who are going to churn end up taking the downsell. And let's say that downsell, and you don't have to follow the math exactly, he's already did it, but adding an upsell, adding a downsell results in your LTGP going from $8,000 to 12,800. That's a 60% increase with zero additional increase in CAC. This is kind of what this looks like graphically. You guys are going to have this sheet after. So what this would mean is that you would increase your take-home income by 60% without increasing any additional new clients, just by adding upsells and downsells. What does that mean you're able to do? Increase your spend to acquire new customers, outwork or outbid other people running the same business as you can have You can afford to spend more aggressively. Take home more profit by working less because 80% of the work of any business is the acquisition of new customers. Who in here is currently under the idea, and I want you to be honest and put a 1 in the chat, that most of the work of a business is fulfilling for customers, like doing the fulfillment work? Put a 1 in the chat if you are currently under that impression. Okay. A lot of you. It's not. It's 1/3. It's between 33% and 20% of it. If you spend all of your time and effort and focus thinking that your business is, I don't know, say you're an email marketing business. You're not in the business of email marketing. You're in the business of getting new customers. You know what I'm saying? If you overly fixate and neglect customer acquisition, you are never, ever going to make any money, because all of the people who make all of the money are psychotically focused on getting new customers. They are concerned with exactly 0 other things besides getting customers. And eventually, they build a team and processes to systematize the fulfillment for clients, right? That eventually happens. But anybody who scales ever is simply a psychopath about signing new clients. Get what I'm saying? That's what this business is. Now, if you had a cure for cancer, I'm sure there would be 0 effort required in getting customers. Why? Because you'd be the only person on the planet with it. And for anybody who doesn't buy it in the target market, they die, right? So, like, fucking clearly they're going to buy it. You know what I'm saying? But when you run an email marketing business and you didn't raise $1 billion to make this like insane tech or some shit, like, you're competing against thousands of people. The only edge that you will ever get ever is the case studies, the client case studies you're able to produce, and your skill at being able to sign new clients. That's the only edge that you will ever get, ever, in this business. So what does that mean? It means that everyone in here who said that they want freedom or they want to get rich, doesn't matter what it is that you want, your only path to that is by becoming psychotically good at getting clients. It is actually an afterthought to get results for your clients. Why? Because if you don't become psychotically good at getting clients, you're not going to have any clients to get results for. It'll never happen. It'll be a complete waste of time. Just put a 1 in the chat if, like, I'm actually like moving you guys to like understand. Like, I want you to like get that. Like, it's like that's what separates the people of who get results and who don't. Like, it's everyone who just does that ends up winning. All right, dope. Okay, so this is a CAC LTGP calculator, and you guys will get this. It's linked in the Google Doc. It's linked in the Gamma Doc that you guys are going to get access to. Can you see that window? Can you see this LTGP calculator right now on my screen? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right. So you can play with this and be like, say your cost to acquire a customer is $2,000. Your average revenue per customer is 2,000. Your gross profit margin, you ideally really want to be 80%. That's not net, it's gross. It's an incremental cost to fulfill. This would mean that you keep them for 6 months. This would mean that your LTGP is 9,400, and that would mean that you'd be getting a 4.7x. and that's good. You really want to be above a 4x. So you guys can play with this, play with the kinds of pricing, and play with the different CAC. Now, a lot of like playing with this is like, well, fuck Daniel. What if I want to get this to like be like a 6x so I can be in the amazing territory? Well, what can we do? Well, all we can do is increase revenue per customer, right? But like, well, how do we get someone to pay us more? Well, if we go back to what we talked about earlier, people buy fundamentally what they're buying are results. You get what I'm saying? So, how do we get people to pay us more? The answer is get them more results, right? But how can we do that when you're just starting out or you don't have a ton of case studies? Well, there's two answers. And we're going to go extensively through each of these. One is using a performance basis where you say that they only pay as you get them results, which again, also with Sofon said over here, won't you ruin your reputation if you keep getting clients not delivering results? Yeah, you will. That's why you use a performance basis, right? So when you can also use a guarantee, a money back guarantee, where if you don't get this result, you don't pay or X thing. You know what I'm saying? So when in your offer, when you're doing outreach and you just add a guarantee or say that you work on a performance basis to your outreach, you will, I shit you not, get 5, if not 10 times more people interested. It is not a 20% increase or like a 50% increase. It is 10 times more results. Why? Because people are afraid of losing money. We literally just saw in the chat, like someone said, they looked me up on ChatGPT to see if I was a load of bullshit before they bought something for $67, right? So you can imagine what's going through the head of somebody when you're asking them for like multiple thousands. You get what I'm saying? So the way you mitigate the risk for them is to just outright reduce the risk of them losing money. You just eliminate the possibility for them. You know what I'm saying? So what would that, so adding a guarantee or adding a performance basis substantially reduces your CAC. It might legit be 1,000 instead of 2,000, which puts us at 9.4x instead of 4x. Yeah, Yassine, you probably heard me say that before. You are an internet scammer until proven otherwise on the internet. Yeah, Kushal, losing money hurts more than gaining money feels good. Right? So you guys will be able to play with that later on. So all of this works if you are selling a front-end cold traffic optimized offer. So if you try to start a business and end up picking a warm traffic offer, then you're going to sign legitimately 0 clients. Who in here is kind of thinking right now, or again, I want you to put a 1 in the chat if so, we're like, you're like, fuck, I think I have a warm traffic offer and I don't have a cold traffic offer. Put a 1 in the chat if you feel that. All right, yeah, it's a pretty substantial amount of you guys. So like, I imagine you've probably been having the issues that I've been talking about. Like you have a really low response rate. Like if you run ads, they don't work very well. If you do content, you really don't get a lot of inbound at all. Like it's like, and it shouldn't feel like that. It shouldn't. So if you keep doing it, you're going to be like that guy who spent $50,000 to learn from the guru who got 0 results. So, okay. So what are the front end cold traffic offers that you should be selling? So let's reveal these real quick. So we're going to go over business models and then like the construction of an offer. So like there's dozens of offers you can sell as front end cold traffic offers, but I'm going to categorize them into 4 here. Ads and funnels agency, content agency, lead generation agency, AI automation agency. they'll fall within these buckets of business models. So important note, real quick, because we were talking about LTV earlier. When you are expanding your LTV by creating upsells and downsells, you are a lot of the times grabbing offers from the other business model. So one example might be saying you're selling VSL funnel builds and advertising to a client, and then you upsell them LinkedIn ghostwriting. Because they're like, how do we get even more leads? And you're like, well, I can make a LinkedIn for you, and then you fucking do that. You get what I'm saying? Okay. Now, I'm going to walk through actual offers and descriptions of those offers that you can sell as front-end cold traffic offers. So for these, remember that AI can do a substantial amount of work for you. So now don't get confused on this. They're just examples. I'm going to give you access to a pre-trained GPT that can come up with front-end cold traffic offers for you. So you guys will be able to play with that later on. But okay, lead generation agency. Highest success rate business model for beginners of all time. Like actually, single-handedly, the highest volume of 6 and low 7-figure business owners created with this model. From if you were to look at the success rate of like beginner who starts at 0 to somebody who is successfully able to hit 10, 20, 30K a month, it's a lead generation agency. Why? Because it is the single most in-demand service across companies on the entire planet. They need leads. All of them need leads. Everybody buys leads, right? So cold email lead gen. You send cold emails for a client where you scrape prospect list, write out automated email sequences, set up domains and inbox pools to distribute sending volume, automate sending like 1,000 to 3,000 cold emails a day, set the appointments for the clients, and book calls for them. LinkedIn outreach, you send outbound LinkedIn messages for a client where you identify prospect list and sales navigator, write out automated messages sequences for them, set up the account automations. You can also buy pre-warmed accounts. You can buy a fuck ton of those, and that works too. You set the appointments for the clients, and the goal is to book sales calls for the client, right? You have an ads and funnels agency. So this is the highest earning agency owners. It's difficult for beginners though, because you have to also sell a client on spending money on ads. And if you have 0 case studies, it's very difficult to tell someone you have to pay me and you have to pay ad spend. Oh, and by the way, I'm a beginner and don't have any results, so I might fuck this whole thing up and lose all your ad spend. You know what I'm saying? So it's a difficult thing for beginners to sell. But if you can pull it off and you get good at ads, you will make the most money from this. Right? This is the highest concentration of 7 and 8 figure, like specifically 8-figure agency owners, is they're almost always an advertising agency. Okay. Video sales letter build outs. You build a VSL funnel for a client where you script and edit a VSL, write a sales page for the funnel, set up the automations in the tech, set up the email flows, script and edit and run the ads for them. And the goal is what? Booking sales calls for their sales team. So like what's happened here? It's sales calls, book sales calls, book sales calls. That's the goal for these. It's book sales calls. Webinar funnel build outs. You can build a webinar for a client, and it really follows the same exact thing. You're building the webinar, running the ads. The goal is to get webinar registrants and have people buy a $2,000 to $5,000 offer on the webinar. You might have to help the client build the offer on there because they're not gonna know how to do that, right? Like who in here of the lead gen agents, the current lead gen agency owners, how many of your clients, because you're advertising the cold traffic, how many of your clients have said some shit where it's like, yeah, you get me the calls and I'll close them. And then you start getting them calls from cold traffic and they don't close shit. Just put a 1 in the chat if that's been the case for all the lead gen agency owners. Yep. All right. So yeah, fucking every single lead gen agency, every single client says that. You get me the leads and I'll close them. So all of this shit I'm teaching you guys here today about cold traffic offers, you need to understand this to so deep of a degree that you are able to guide a client to whether their offer is going to work on cold traffic or not. You need to guide the client to making a cold traffic offer. Because if they don't, you're not going to get the results. Get them. They have to understand what a cold traffic offer is. And the only way for them to understand what a cold traffic offer is if you teach them. Right? You have shit like email list management. Um, you script out email flows. Now, what's very interesting about this is in some industries, there is what is normal. So, like if you go try to sell like email list management to somebody like me, where I have like a consulting business, I have a SaaS business, I'm basically gonna tell you to go fuck yourself. Like no matter what the pricing is, I do it. But if you go to an e-commerce brand, it's normal to sell email. It's a normal thing. Now, if you go try to sell an agency service to real estate agents, they're going to be like, no, I'm only paying you when like the closing happens. Because that's how it works in their industry. People only get paid at closing. But then if you go sell to like insurance brokerages and you get insurance leads, insurance agents buy leads, money up front. They buy leads. Like insurance brokers buy leads up front and distribute it to their agents. That's normal. That's a normal thing. Of course, you'll get the dickhead who's like, "What, dude? I got a really good idea. How about you? Like, you only pay me when they close." You know what I mean? Like, you're gonna get that dickhead, right? But you understand like what is normal in specific industries, right? Okay, content agencies. There's a high success rate for people who have a natural inclination towards content and social or like editing and shit, right? LinkedIn or Twitter ghostwriting. This is a really good business. I really like this one a lot. A lot of people get very good success with this. You create LinkedIn and Twitter content for your client, or normally what happens is you do interviews with them, and you get to extract their knowledge into just text, right? Feed those answers to an LLM with examples of good posts. Have it spit out 20 to 30 per month. Schedule all the posts. The goal is to get them sales calls booked for their platform through the platforms to make more sense. This, again, like all the other ones, only works if the client themselves has a cold traffic offer, right? YouTube management, basically the same thing here. You're scripting a video out, you're editing it, and like the goal is to get them sales or clients. Okay, AI automation buildouts. So, okay, this is good for people who are analytical and already technical to agree, or just like technical stuff. Now, this is different than what you might be thinking. Okay, selling AI consulting is not a cold traffic offer. Who in here has seen the shit where it's like a video of Grant Cardone or whoever the fuck, and they're like, if I was just starting out, like I'd make $1 million a year selling AI consulting to small local businesses. Just put a one in the chat if you've seen this shit. Okay, now put a two in the chat if you believe it. Be honest. Okay, yeah. Some people are putting twos. Okay. When Grant Cardone or whoever the fuck says, like big giant influencer says, I'd start an AI consulting business and sell it to small local businesses. They're saying that because they have an audience of 3 million people and they can send one email to their warm traffic and make $1 million in an afternoon. You don't have an audience of 3 million people. You don't have any warm traffic. You need to sell to people who don't know you. Cold traffic does not buy consulting. Who here has ever worked with a fucking, it's like a corporate leadership consulting offer or some stupid bullshit like that? Who's ever tried to work with a client who sells some stupid shit like a corporate leadership coaching program? Just something like that. Just put a one in the chat. That's been you. Yeah, all right. So a couple people. 0% probability that ever works. No one, no one buys that. Cold traffic doesn't buy consulting. It's not a thing. You know what I'm saying? Like it won't work. So AI automations, what you actually do are you build specific builds. You build a thing that produces a result, right? So it's like a sales system or an operations system or a GTM system or like I can't even say chatbots where it's like that's what people think it is, but it's not. It's vibe coded infrastructures. It's something that delivers a specific result. The build needs to be already like thought of. And you're selling a specific build, not I'll help you implement AI in your business. That doesn't work. Right? Okay. There are shit tons of other offers. Impossible things that you can sell to increase LTV and combinations of things that you could sell together. It would be too long of a list if I attempted to list them all here, but I'm just going to quickly throw some out. Like you could set up simple lead form ads for clients where you run low budget ads for them and call and text all the leads that come through and then booking the appointments for them. If you're doing LinkedIn ghostwriting, you can start sending outbound messages to the people interacting with the post to book more appointments for them. If you're doing cold email, you can add cold calling, the positive responses. If you're doing YouTube, you can add lead magnet creation where you make lead magnets for each video and then the funnels for them to opt in to get the lead magnet and then the email flows on the back of the lead magnet. You get what I'm saying? If you're doing email list management, you could add the same thing of the lead magnets. If you're doing any of the services that aren't funnels or ads, you can upsell the creation of funnels. Like bullshit like this. So I want to talk about like the general price range that most B2B companies, again, how to charge clients. A general price range that most B2B companies don't even register as a big deal is like $1,000 to $2,000. The more when you start getting above $2,000, it starts becoming more of a decision. This doesn't mean that $1,000 or $2,000 doesn't require a base level understanding of sales. You still have to be selling this person that what you're doing for them is going to be successful to them. It's just that it's much easier when the prices are this low, right? Okay. Retainers versus performance-based pricing. So for a lot of offers, doing performance-based pricing makes sense. For instance, with lead generation offers like cold email lead gen, the standard pricing model that makes the most sense is $500 per month tech fee plus a $200 to $400 per call booked. Okay. I see this all the time with people in AI assisted agency. I say this where like they're going to start a cold email lead gen business because it's one of the most highest success probability businesses ever conceived of all time. They go, I tell them, dude, you're charged $500 a month tech fee plus $250 a call for your first like 5 clients. And then what happens is they fucking start trying to get cute and they're like, well, let me add a setup fee too. It's like, bro, I didn't fucking tell you to put a setup fee. So now you have a setup fee. You also have a monthly tech fee and you have a performance fee. It's 3 fees. It's fees, fees, fees. What are you, Ticketmaster? Like it's like chill out with the fees. Like it's $500 a month tech fee plus cost per performance. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like you can't stack 3 fees. And then you get the other person who's like, well, you know, I have no case studies and I'm gonna not have a guarantee, and I'm gonna charge $2,000 up front. It's like, bro, no one's buying that from you. They're not purchasing that from you. It's not like could somebody with a ton of case studies do that? Yeah, but it's risky to work with you when you don't have case studies. Nobody's paying you $2,000 up front. It's not happening, right? So like you're gonna hear this with ROI calculators class in class 3 with Dan, but $400 a call makes economic sense for a lot of businesses, right? A lot of these guys will be selling like a $10,000 service, and they close 15 to 20% of the calls. And if they close at 20%, that means they're paying $2,000 to acquire $10,000, which that CAC is fine. You know what I'm saying? Now, you don't have to start with low prices, but I understand a lot of you guys might literally be incapable of even conceiving a possibility of charging that much, where you're like, there's no way I'm quoting someone like $5,000 or $10,000 for a phone bill. And it's okay to not do that. But you need to be able to back this up a lot of times with a guarantee. You know what I'm saying? Okay. I personally sell funnel build outs for $32,000. And yes, we have sold them. I did not make the price up. We literally sell them for $32,000. How? By what I call deliverable stacking, or the transfer of logistical intensity. Okay. This is a concept that is super, super important. Let me show you like the actual document of like how I present, like when I'm selling a $32,000 offer, for instance. So we have a mastermind called Olympia, and there is an option for people who are doing that to get a $32,000 offer. So when we're on the sales call, we literally walk them through this, where it's saying the offer creation is done with you, the funnel setup is done for you, the ad scripts are done for you, the VSL Gamma Doc is done for you, the video editing is done for you, the initial ad campaign launch is done with you, the email sequences and text sequences are done for you, the automations build outs are done for you, the SDR and setter recruitment is done with you, the closure recruitment is done with you, the fulfillment team recruitment is done with you, the campaign scaling is done with you, and the daily ads management is do it yourself. And then we say, like, all these done for you components, like compared to just done with you on the normal Olympia, say that's $32,000. Now, there's a particular kind of person who doesn't want to set up the funnel, who doesn't want to do the ad scripts, who doesn't want to do the VSL, who doesn't want to do the video editing, who doesn't want to do the email sequences, who doesn't want to do the automations, where they're like, no, I'll just pay 32 grand for that instead. Why? Because it's a lot of shit that they get. Like, I'm not just saying, yeah, we're going to help you scale your ads. Like, imagine I fucking put that here where it's like, help you scale your ads. Yes. 14 grand. Like, bro, what? What do I get? Like, what do I receive? What do I get as a buyer? I want to tell you guys a story of one of my very first sales calls. When I was running the cold email agency. So I remember I got on a call one time, and like I was going through, like I was basically saying like, talking to the guy like, what do you sell? Yada yada. Oh yeah, I can do that. I think I could get you really good results. And I was like fumbling it, kind of like an idiot. And then I gave him a price. I just set a price. I was like, yeah, $2,000. I don't know what it was exactly, but and he goes, okay, well, like I didn't even get a pitch here. Like, what do I get? And I was like, what do you mean? And the guy's like getting angry. He's like, what do I get? Like, I pay you $2,000 for what? And I'm like, cold email. What do you mean? I'm gonna do cold email for you. Like, what do you mean? What do you get? You get cold email. And the guy's like, listen, like you don't understand what I'm saying, and like you clearly have no idea how to do this at all, and like this just isn't for you. Like this like you don't know what you're talking about yet. And like the guy got off the phone, obviously didn't close him. I was like, I was so pissed off. I was like, the fuck is this guy talking about? The guy was talking about he doesn't know what he gets. What is the deliverable of the shit that he receives? Like, am I going to build a lead list? Like, how am I going to build the lead list of what leads? Am I writing the scripts? Is he writing the scripts? Am I buying the domains? Is he doing it? Am I buying the inboxes? Is he buying the inbox? Is who's responding to the leads? Who's setting the appointments on the calendar? What kind of results is he gonna get? Most importantly, I didn't say any of these shit to him. I was just a complete idiot. And I was like, yeah, I sell you cold email. I get 2,000. I sound like an idiot. This is a lot of what your guys offer sounds like. You sound like me when I was 21. I just turned 29, by the way, so this is 8 years ago. So it's like, learn from my mistake. Yeah, damn, Unk. Yeah, bro, I'm getting there. It's crazy. All right, so you could kind of also think of this as this concept I like to talk about called the transfer of logistical intensity. So I want you to imagine a hypothetical lead generation business for roofers. Does anyone in here happen to run a lead gen agency for roofers? If so, just put a one in the chat. I want to, Matthias. Wow, that's funny. So you'll understand what I'm saying here a lot. Okay, Let's imagine two different options here. We have agency A, we have agency B. Okay, these are the deliverables. They make the ads. Like, okay, they both do that. Cool. They run the ads. Cool, got it. Yeah, you fuck around in the ads manager for them. Like, cool. They make the landing pages that the ads go to. No, okay, yeah, you both do that. They build the automations of the emails and the texts and the shit. Like, okay, cool, you do that. And then we do the appointment setting. So it's like, yeah, you're getting a bunch of leads, filling out lead forms, but somebody has to call the leads. Who's going to do it? So, Matthias, who calls the leads? You or the client? Me. Okay, cool. Matthias, I want to take a bet and say that you charge higher prices than the average roofing agency owner. Okay. How is that? Because appointment setting fucking sucks. It's you got to hire someone to call leads and set appointments. Now, what happens? And for what happens when you go to a client and you're like, hey, you have to do this thing that requires you to execute any fucking literally any amount of effort at all? They do nothing. That is what you're going to learn on your journey of being an agency owner. Is the client is a lazy piece of shit and they're never going to do anything ever. That's literally why they bought a done for you service. And now most catastrophically about this is that if you tell them to do something like call the leads to set the leads, they're not going to do it. And what does that mean? It means that they're not going to get results. And then what does that mean? They're going to go to you and they're going to say, I'm not getting results. You're a fraud. You're a scam. I want a refund. You're giving me shitty leads. No one's booking in. And then you go and you audit it and you see how many of the leads did they call. And in, I shit you not, 99% of the cases, it's zero. So, what happens when you're presenting your offer and you just say that you do that one part? I do the appointment set. What happens? You can charge so much more money because it's so much more valuable because they don't want to call the leads. What does it also mean? That these people are going to get so much better results for you selling them a more expensive offer. Now, I think what's important to understand is the incremental amount of money you can charge additionally by doing the appointment setting is 5, 6, or 7 times higher than the amount of money it takes to fulfill that. That's how that works. Okay, let's talk about guarantees. Adding a guarantee to your offer substantially increases how many calls you get booked. Like easily like 8 to 10x. Like there are 3 bottlenecks that you are going to face in your business ever. There's only 3. It's either getting leads, closing the leads, or fulfilling for them and getting them results. Those are the only three problems you'll ever have in your company ever. If you think there's any problem that does not have to do with any of these three, it's a fake problem and you made it up. The only thing that you should ever be concerned with is getting more leads, closing them, and getting them results. That's it. Nothing else matters besides this. This is important to understand because you probably think your bottleneck is going to be closing people. Or you might think that your bottleneck is going to be fulfillment. You think like, I haven't started yet because I just need to get good at, like, I need to know I can get clients results before I start. That's who here thinks that? I have to get good at client results before I start. Just put a 1 in the chat if that's you. Okay. This is the easiest part of the entire fucking thing. This is the least common bottleneck ever. Is this right here. The operate and fulfill it. Like, it's very easy to you sign a client on cold email or whatever the fuck, and it's like you buy consulting from someone or some program that just tells you how to get results for that specific client. It's not the bottleneck. This is solved immediately and easily. Like, it's just like it's not even close to being, like, not even close to, this is the easiest problem to resolve ever. What actually is the bottleneck, what actually is all of the effort, is getting the calls booked at all. A lot of you guys think it's so easy to get calls booked. I just send some emails and I get people on and they'll just buy. Like, that shit is so fucking hard. It's like, if you have not started yet because you're scared you won't get client results, you have got this equation completely backwards. Because the longer you put off actually practicing getting calls booked and understanding how to do lead generation, like, that, the longer you're going to be poor, because this is the highest learning curve right here. It's getting the leads in the first place. That's what the problem is for everyone. It's not this. And pretty much exactly nobody has this problem. Like pretty much nobody has this issue. Everyone has this issue. It's a lead gen problem all the way down. No one has an operations problem. By the time you have an operations problem, you will be making like $30,000 a month in profit. Okay. So the purpose of a guarantee is not to make the sales call easier. It's to get the prospect on the phone. It has nothing to do with closing them on the phone. It has everything to do with getting them to book in the first place. It is more difficult to get somebody on the phone than it is to get them to fucking buy something. You will send thousands of cold emails to get a couple calls booked. And you will only need to get on like 4 sales calls to get paid like $5,000. Like, that's how that works. Like 1 out of 5 people versus like 1 out of thousands. You get what I'm saying? So a lot of people ask me, Daniel, how do I differentiate from other people selling the same thing? The answer is a guarantee. The definition of differentiation is quite literally being different. Most people don't use a guarantee. Therefore, when you use one, you often get 5 to 10 more calls booked. That's the difference between signing 0 and signing 5 clients, or the difference between signing 1 client or 10 clients. But how do you not get screwed by unjustified refunds? Because remember we were just talking about, whereas like all of the people who the clients are like, yeah, you get me the leads and I'll close them. And like they fucking close 0 of them. Like, and or like you're telling the client to call the leads and then you audit it and they didn't close any of the leads and they're like, give me a refund. I want a refund now. And it's like, well, that's not fair. Because how were they going to get, like, you told the client that they need to call the leads and it wasn't going to work unless they call the leads. And then now they're not calling the leads and they're fucking gaslighting you and being like, yeah, the leads are shit. No, I called them. Yeah, no, I called them. Yeah, they suck. Yeah, you owe me a refund. And it's like they didn't actually call them. So, and now they're asking you for a refund. That's not fair. Like, how is that fair? It's their fault. Here's how you resolve this. It's called stipulations. Stipulations are things that the client is required to do in order to be eligible for the refund. Every single guarantee on the planet has a stipulation. There's always stipulations involved in it, right? What is my stipulation for the money back guarantee for this AI business challenge? Is that you got to show up live to all the classes. If you show up live to all the classes, you think it's bullshit at the end of it, I'll give you a refund. If you didn't show up, then no, I'm not giving you shit. You didn't consume it. The AI assisted agency program we sell, that has a money back guarantee. All it says is that they need to send the outreach messages and actually post that they have an offer on their website. They got to actually watch the content. That's all it is. You got to do the thing. And if you do the thing and it doesn't work, then you get a refund. So there's two types of stipulations. There's state stipulations. So the client must already have something in order to qualify for the guarantee. And there's action stipulations. So the client must do specific or multiple action items in order to qualify for the guarantee. The stipulations should be generated based off what is required to get the result in the first place. So say let's go back to that roofing lead gen agency, and you were saying, yeah, I'll guarantee you 5 roofing jobs. I'm going to guarantee you 5. Now, is Matthias still in here? Matthias, you still in here? Okay. How much ad spend would be required to get 5 roofing jobs, and how many calls to leads generally would need to be done to get 5 roofing jobs? About $75 of euros per booked appointment. Okay. And then you would back the math out, like, well, how many booked appointments, like what's the close rate of the client? You know what I'm saying? So it might be that, like, for every $1,500 the client spends on ads, they're able to sign a new roofing job. So what would you want to do here? You'd say, well, if you want 5, it's going to be 1,500 times 5. So you got to spend $7,500 on ads. That's the first stipulation. If you don't spend $7,500 in ads, the probability you get 5 roofing jobs is 0. Now, I assume, let's say that you were making them call the leads. You then also say you have to call every lead you get within 10 minutes during normal business hours. It's not going to happen unless you do that to book the appointment. People can't be calling your line and it fucking goes to voicemail. Like, how is the appointment getting booked? How does that make any sense? And then there's them going out to the actual job. Now, what happens if they go out to the appointments and they go to 10 appointments and don't close any? Well, it's like, dude, are you trying to not close this sale? Like, how is it even, like, functionally possible that a close rate would be that low? So then you'd probably want to stipulate that they need to close at least 10% of them. And then you present all of these stipulations to them and tell them this is what is required to get the result in the first place. This is how the result occurs. I'll guarantee the result happens if you do this and I'm doing this. And if you do this and I do this and the result doesn't happen, I'll give you a refund. That's how you save yourself from getting screwed by unjustified refunds. Okay. Another example. Say a content agency, they have a sign 10 clients or your money back. And it could be 10 clients in 90 days or whatever. But they have to say subscribe to the service for 3 months and be fully paid. If they don't pay, then the guarantee becomes null and void. They have to film all 90 video scripts provided. If you don't film all the stuff we gave you, how can I guarantee you anything? If they get their accounts banned and suspended because they were doing stupid shit on it, it's like, no, I can't guarantee you anything if you got your accounts banned. Client has to respond to the comments. Where it's like, how are you expecting people to buy your stuff if you're not responding to them? Clients got to maintain a minimum closing rate of 15% of their calls. I'm not going to guarantee you clients if you can't close any of them. This is warm traffic you're getting if it's content. If a client wishes to request a refund, they have to provide all the call recordings of the calls inside the scheduling platform in order for the company to do an audit, whether they're closed or not. And that's just to make sure that they didn't actually close them and they're just lying about it. You get what I'm saying? You just make it. So it's like a prenup. It's a prenup. That's all you're doing. You're signing a prenup with the client. It's like, listen, you're not getting my shit if you just like decide to one day get up and scam me. But if it's like, if I totally fuck up, then like, yeah, I understand. You know what I mean? But if like you go out and cheat on me, it's like, I'm not giving you my shit. You know, it's a very reasonable thing. So anybody who's not gonna like take this is unreasonable, and they were going to ask for a refund anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like that's it, and there's a 100% hit rate on this. If somebody is getting hung up about fucking shit on like the stipulations, unless you have outlandish stipulations, like it's like if you have reasonable stipulations and someone is like trying to get it, like they're throwing a fucking fit about it. Normally, they were gonna ask for a refund anyway. That's just probably what was gonna happen most of the time, right? Now you can also set up the contract in a way where it's if they request a refund, it's done in a tiered system. So if you only got them X% of the client sign, then they only get X% result. Like you can do that too, right? So let me show you an actual situation of these guys. So I had this student in here who was basically saying, and this pissed me off because he goes, this was in my program. He goes, looking for feedback, been here for months, no sales, nothing's working. Now this really pissed me off because I had talked to this guy so fucking many times, so many times. And I was like, bro, you don't have case studies. You need to put a guarantee. Like you're trying to charge people like $3,000 or $4,000 up front. You don't have case studies. Like you're not, no one's gonna fucking book in with you. And I kept it, it was the same conversation every single week. I had the same conversation with this guy over and over and over and over and over and over again. And then he sent this message in one of the public channels, and that shit pissed me off because he goes, nothing is working. Okay, no. That is totally wrong. It's I'm not doing what I've been told to do. So then all these guys who did do what I told them to do start chiming in. So we got Shaw over here who was like, "Oh, I did what Daniel said, and then I booked 5 calls today." Then we got another Dan over here who was like, "When I joined when I joined CA, I was terrified to have a guarantee." And then now Dan over here is at like 50K a month. So it's like I would like that like don't be like this dude who sat here for, dude, I shit you not, it was like 6 months. The guy refused to use a guarantee. I was like, bro, what? How is this not clocking to you? You're never, ever going to sign clients. You don't have an audience. You don't make content. You don't have case studies. You don't have an option. You need to have a guarantee. Guy never did it. Guy just absolutely refused to do it. And then these guys who just immediately did it, oh, look at that, results. Yeah, Omar, the only reason I paid $67 for this was because of the guarantee. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, it's going back to let's stop treating the prospect like a retard. You get it? So, like you always need to imagine, like, what if someone offered this to me? So I would always try telling this dude, I was like, bro, like, you're trying to sell, like, say I go to you right now and it's like $3,000 for Google Ads, no guarantee. I have no case studies on it, by the way. I'm like, would you buy that? And he's like, no. I'm like, well, then why are you expecting other people to buy it? It's so stupid. It's so dumb, right? Just please don't make that mistake, because it's really just the stupidest mistake that you can make. I just told you how to protect yourself from the refunds. I just told you how to do that. And if you want to, and if you're scared of someone even just getting angry at you, then do it on a performance basis where you don't get paid until the result occurs. You know what I'm saying? Just do what I'm telling you to do. So, couple notes here. Only like 1 out of 70 to 100 clients are going to ask for a refund, even if you don't get results. 1 out of 10 people on the sales call ask about the guarantee, even if they got on the phone and responded to your message that included the guarantee. If they do ask about the guarantee, you just walk them through the stipulations. If they don't agree to the stipulations, you just don't work with them. It's really that simple. So, just some examples here. Performance-based lead generation, we booking qualified sales calls and you only pay when they show up. This is single-handedly the highest performing offer in the entire market right now for agency owners is this. Nothing comes even close to this right here. Do you bring up the guarantee if they don't ask? No, I don't. Because the purpose of the guarantee, you still have it in the contract, but the purpose of the guarantee is to get them on the phone. So I'll build you a video sales letter funnel for your business and guarantee you a 3-to-1 return on your money or you don't pay. I'll build you a VSL funnel for your business and guarantee you at least $30,000 in profit or you don't pay. I'll script, edit, and produce all your content and guarantee you 10 clients or you don't pay. I'll create and post 30 pieces of LinkedIn content for you per month and guarantee you sign at least 3 clients. I'll create and post 90 pieces of LinkedIn content for you and guarantee you sign 10 clients. I'll create an entire content marketing system for your business and guarantee you sign your next 10 clients or you don't pay. I'll run a high volume cold email campaign for your business and guarantee you sign clients from it. I'll run LinkedIn outreach campaigns for your business and guarantee you sign 5 clients. You get the point. Is everyone getting this? Okay, so right here is a custom GPT that will you can play with it about asking for about your offer. So you guys will have the link to that. You'll be able to play with that. It'll be here in the Gamma Doc. You're gonna get the Gamma Doc after. Just as a side note here, LLMs have no idea of the context of current active market demand, and it is therefore incapable of giving you a 100% correct answer. It's here to assist you with coming up with like stipulations and what your guarantee should be. You can't ask it, does this product work right now? Is a good offer me selling this specific AI set? It's not gonna know. It doesn't understand active market demand for offers, because this is not like a offers that are working on cold traffic right now are not like publicly advertised things. Like you'll never find a list like this like for free just sitting on the internet that's like actually backed in data. I have like 400 and something people in the AI assisted agency program, and I've had like 1,500 total people that have gone through it. It's like, this is from real data. You won't find this just fucking posted anywhere. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's like, so therefore a ChatGPT or Claude, like it will not know if the product has active market demand on it. Right? Okay. All right. So I'm going to go over this section really quick because it's not too complicated of a section, and I want to do a Q&A. And I want to have enough time for a Q&A. But you don't have a niche for as a beginner. You don't have a niche. You just don't. Right? The literal last thing you should be doing is niching down, because you don't know what kind of business you can get results for. And everybody is under the impression that Well, if I say on my website where I work with this specific kind of business, that specific kind of business is going to be more inclined to work with me. No, wrong. Doesn't work like that. What's going to make somebody more inclined to work with you is if you have a guarantee. And that's going to apply to every single niche. So, you know what I'm saying? Okay. Your only job is to find literally any business who is willing to work with you in the beginning at all. The only thing you need to be doing is find a business who fit the economic parameters I'm about to give you. You should be working with anybody and everybody who hits these economic parameters. This is an evolving process. Who you sell to now is not who you are going to be selling to in the future. You will work with dozens of different niches, dozens of different clients. There's literally zero reason to niche down. You don't know what you're good at yet. Some people are good at different verticals. Some people are good at other verticals. Some people that do well in one niche, there's no winning niche. There are losing niches. I'll give you there. Okay, I'll give you the losing niches right now. Law, anything law, don't do it. IT, cybersecurity, and real estate agents, and like mortgage agents, mortgage brokers and shit. Under fucking any circumstance whatsoever, you should never work with any of those. Under any, they're not getting results. Completely impossible. Okay. Now, right now, your niche has got to be anybody who sells really expensive stuff, right? So in this section, we're gonna do 5 things. I'm gonna explain the $15,000 LTV rule. I'm gonna give you a mega prompt to find every conceivable niche that this applies to. A mega prompt for deep research. A list of 500 niches already extracted for you, and how to use AI to find test lead list batches. Okay, but Daniel, do we need to pick a niche from this list instead of just doing? Why do we need to pick a niche for this list instead of just doing proven niches? I have a client here, Cabrin, where this whole concept of finding, I call it finding obscure niches. It's finding niches that nobody even thinks that even fucking exist at all, and then you go sell to those people. So Cabrin picked some fuck all random business that nobody would have even thought to think of, and then you go pitch them like any kind of marketing service, and it sounds like you invented fire. And it's super easy to sell to them compared to a niche that gets bombarded with cold emails every single day. Get what I'm saying? There's no proven niches. Okay. So there are saturated niches as well, though. So these are like info coaching. Nobody here should sell to info coaching. 0 people should sell to info coaching. Software is, I don't want to say saturated. Software and home services are not saturated. They're competitive. So you need a guarantee. Info and coaching is saturated. Saturated means it's like it doesn't matter what the fuck you say. E-commerce is actually not saturated. It's just competitive. Info and coaching is saturated, where it's like it doesn't matter what you say, you're not getting clients. Software and home services and e-commerce are just competitive. You just 100% of the time need a guarantee. That's all that is. So let's talk about this real quick. So it is easier to get good results for clients when the client sells something that's very expensive. So if you have a client who sells cheap products and they have customers with low LTV, it's hard to get them results. If they like what you're looking for is just key metrics here, real quick. Lifetime value is total revenue divided by total customers. LTGP, we went over that, and CAC, we went over that, right? Average order value is also expressed as like cash collected up front. Because you can have like, oh, I see this shit all the time. People say this shit all the time. It's the dumbest fucking thing ever. People be like, yeah, just signed a $60,000 contract, and it's like 5K month to month, and it's like, bro, you didn't make $60,000. You made $5,000. Like, stop, please stop. Like, like anyone can sign a contract and just stop paying you. What are you gonna do? You know what I'm saying? So, what you're looking for is you want clients who have a $15,000 LTV on what they sell. They need in their business to have a $15,000 LTV. So what does that mean? It means you can't go sell to like a pest control company because pest control is like $100 a month. You can't sell a landscaping company who mows grass. The only kind of landscaping company you could work with is one that works in like commercial properties or like Beverly Hills or some shit. Yeah, you can't work with restaurants. You can sell to roofers, commercial plumbing, B2B SaaS. You know what I'm saying? The reason why, again, is because when you sell a client, for instance, a lead gen offer and it's cold email lead gen, and you're charging them a $500 a month tech fee plus $250 a call, they're probably going to spend $3,000 a month with you. They're probably going to sign one client. That means their CAC is $3,000. What would that mean if their client LTV is $3,000? They lose money. In order for the client to stay with you, they need to make money. Therefore, if you're going to try to charge $2,000 or $3,000 or $4,000, they need at least a 15K LTV. Does that make sense to everyone? Super important to understand. This is just explaining gross margins versus net margins. I'm gonna kind of skim through this real quick and take a sip of water. Because damn, I've been going 2 hours ago. Okay. So fundamentally, what you were doing in business is scalping money off of profitable growth that you execute for a customer. That's like really what's happening here. That's like all you're doing. Um, so just to try to point forward, here's a random anecdote. I was in a conversation with some guys who make a lot of money. We were talking about upsell processes, and basically what we came to the conclusion of is that the best time to upsell a client is immediately when they sign a client. Um, Most people on the planet, when they get money, they spend it immediately. Um, does anyone know anyone who has a credit card and they're like physiologically incapable of not maxing the credit card out? Kenneth does. Yes. Yeah. That's most people. So like if you have a client that signs, I don't fucking know, $20,000 on that goes to $20,000 deal from a lead that you got them. Do you know what's gonna happen if you don't upsell them right there immediately? They're gonna go spend it on some stupid shit within like 24 hours. That's like generally what happens with most people. When your client makes money, you need to sell them something because they're gonna spend it, right? Okay. Basically, this is me just showing like don't sell low ticket shit. It's too hard. Don't 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 sign clients who sell low ticket shit. You need a client with high LTV, high gross margins. They have high upfront cash. They understand marketing and they have an adequate budget for marketing. That's only the case with people who have high LTVs, right? So avoid supplement companies, e-commerce, restaurants, fucking landscaping. You know what I mean? Affiliate marketers. You don't want to do that. Okay. So this right here is a find niches mega prompt. So this is the giant mega prompt over here. I'm going to open this up actually. So you guys will be able to go through this whole conversation in Manus. Um, but if I go all the way up to the top, this was the mega prompt pasted in. And what this built was a giant Google sheet of a bunch of leads. So you can see how big this thing is. So hold on. Let me go down. And this is the output. So let me just pick a random one here. Um, Outdoor shower installation. Who here has ever thought of selling to outdoor shower installation companies? I have a client who, by the way, is fucking annihilating right now. He works with companies that install indoor golf simulators. So his clients are the people who install indoor golf simulators. I'm like, this is the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard. And the dude makes a shit ton of money. I'm like, bro, this is so funny. Like, this is so stupid that this works. Um, Business dispute resolution, interim executive services, plastic surgery is kind of good. It's just like, it's so fucking funny. It's just the dumbest shit. And I'll put it in the chat. You guys can fuck around with it for a little bit. But it's so stupid that you just pick one and say, I'm gonna email 20 of these people today with an offer with a guarantee. And it fucking works. It's so stupid. It's literally so funny. Um I've also got a Google Doc over here. You guys will get this where it's it's an explanation of how it all works. Um but what you really want to do here is if you don't know shit about the niche, like a lot of times you might like, okay, well, let's say we went over here and we picked like uh supply chain optimization consulting or some bullshit or just a supply chain business like a logistics company or something like that. And you're like, the fuck I don't know anything about this. So what do I even say to these people? What you do is you copy this thing right here, replace the niche right here, and this is going to conduct like an absolute mega research for you on it. And it's just read through it real quick. This is a sufficient enough understanding to know like what are these people being pitched? What do I need to say to not look like an idiot to this person? Um, what are there like trends that are happening in this industry that I can like reference right now? What's an objection that this specific industry is gonna have? Like, are there other agencies that are selling to them? What are their offers? What are the pain points? You get what I'm saying? Like, what qualification and disqualification parameters should I have for this specific niche? Just run through that real quick. Just do that if you feel like I don't want to email them because I don't know anything about them. Just do this and it'll be fine. And again, like don't get hung up with the fact that thinking your issue is gonna be client fulfillment. It's not. It's not going to be client fulfillment. Your bottleneck is going to be getting lead. Don't worry about client fulfillment. That's the easiest thing to solve. You will get your clients results. That is not difficult to resolve. It's not. Okay. Now, ideally, what you want to do here is now, yes, you can go spend a couple $100 and get a fucking ton of domains and inboxes and start sending 1,000 cold emails a day. You can do that. Like that works. If you want to send manual outreach messages, you want to go 20 outreach messages a day and niche one. And this is saying what your guarantee is in your offer, by the way. 20 the next niche on day 2, 20 the next niche on day 3. Repeat this out. So what you can do is you can say to Manus, you can feed it. Here, I'm gonna open it so you can actually just see it. Manus would do this thing called deep research, where you tell it, find me 20 companies and the contact information for decision makers at asset protection planning companies. I would like the full names, position, email address, phone number, and the maximum amount of contact information you can find for them. It'll do this thing called deep research, and then it'll deliver it to you. Got their emails, got their phone numbers right here in a little sheet. And you can tell Manus to do that for every one of these niches. You get 20 a day, and that's it. Super simple. Free, right? Can I do it? Claude might be able to do it. It might. Um, Now, here's a prompt to generate an outreach message. This is what it outputs. I just want to like now Christian is going to talk to you guys way more about this on his call on Wednesday, but this is the kind of shit it comes out with. Came across your work in California asset protection. Noticed you're doing the seminar circuit pretty heavily. I work with tax and asset protection attorneys to build out ad campaigns and funnels that bring in pre-qualified clients. Yada yada. This is personally how I would rewrite this. Like, hey Jacob, came across your work in California asset protection. Saw you're doing the seminar circuit pretty heavily. Would you be open to also trying a video sales letter funnel promoted with meta ads? Now, if you don't have case studies, what you need to do here is this. I am prepared to guarantee you sign at least 3 new clients working with me, or you pay nothing. Let me know and I can send a full doc and everything I'd build out for you. Gotta throw the guarantee on there. Super important. Okay. So this is it for class 1. Here's what you'll be learning on the next classes. Class 2, you're learning from Lucas about building AI agents. Class 3 is going to be about outreach messages, sending outreach, sales scripts, and closing people, ROI calculators. And then class 4 is going to be some advanced AI marketing, like how I do my stuff, my day-to-day. I'm going to be going over something that looks like this, like how I build my funnels, right? And I want to do a Q&A with you guys here. So throw it in the chat, like just start throwing out whatever you have. I want to spend a while answering your questions because this becomes like a very valuable part of the presentation is the actual questions. Chris Ozar says this. He only sent it to host and panelists though. You said no real estate agents, but can you work with real estate brokerages and team owners? Chris, generally I don't really like to. There's just now you can work with like real estate funds or like real estate investors, but real estate agents and even real estate brokers they tend to be problem clients. They just always tend to. Real estate agents is a heavily skewed career path in a power law of like 1% of the people make 99% of the money and 99% of the people make $0. So it's a huge issue. I run a short form content agency in the gaming industry, high LTV and low CAC, but extremely small market. They are already saturated. What niche makes the most sense for me to pivot to? Nazar, there's no winning niche. It's pick an obscure one and make an offer with a quantifiable result with a guarantee on it, or keep running your business to warm traffic to the gaming industry. You know what I mean? Those are the only two options. Going back to what I said earlier, like the unfortunate reality is that we don't get to choose what sells. We only get to sell what sells. It's just one of those things where it's like, you know what I mean? How do you cope with the laws preventing cold emailing people and companies in the UK? You don't sell to the UK. You sell to the United States. If you were to start a cold email agency from scratch today, what would your day-to-day look like? Sending outreach messages to get clients all day, like literally all day. That's all I would do. Do you go over fulfillment? Yeah, we'll be talking about like fulfillment and ops and shit tomorrow. What if we have connections in real estate? What if it's commercial? Well, Michael, yeah, well, if you have a connection there, that's fine. But now it's not cold traffic. Like it'll work if it's warm traffic. You know what I mean? So it's like, well, then what's your problem going to be, Michael, when you have this client and it's like, wow, I really want to scale now? The answer is you can't. You know what I mean? Unless it's, you know what I mean? Unless you have like a really, really, really good case study. What's your take on charging clients a percentage of their closed sales? I currently have 4 clients that were friends of friends of friends. Yeah, no, it's it's good if here, I'm gonna close this out. It's good if you can get it and they're the people worthy of doing it for it. A lot of the let me give you a barometer here. All of the clients that you want to do performance-based work for will not want to give you a performance basis. All of the clients who really want you to do a performance basis are exactly the people who you do not want to do a performance basis for. Um, should you not use a guarantee if you have strong case studies, or can you use both case studies? Okay, I want you to think of it as like dials. So at any given moment, like say you're doing X amount of outreach, and there's three ways to get clients: content, ads, outreach. Say you're doing X amount of ads and X amount of outreach and X amount of content. We're just assuming an arbitrary number, and you're not booking as many calls and signing as many clients as you want, and all you have is your case studies and you don't have a guarantee. Um, but to spend more on ads and to make more content and to send more email costs more money. And there's other problems like you run out of TAM or whatever. If you add a guarantee, you'll book more calls and sign more clients because you dialed that one up. So therefore, the amount of clients you sign. So it's like, yeah, you can get away with not having one. It's just that the velocity of how many calls you get per unit of lead generation is going to be lower. So it's just determining whether, like, do I need more calls right now or not? Hey, Daniel, I run a funnel building agency, but I don't run the ads. I just build out everything around them, like the landing pages, VSLs, lead qualification systems, and email flows. What do you think? Should I learn how to run the ads, write ad scripts as well, or would you recommend focusing on what I'm already doing? No, you gotta learn how to run the full thing. Yeah, you gotta do that. That's very important. Can I apply this to Portugal? Why would you not, what are the reasonings that you could possibly think of that this would not apply to Portugal? It's just this a like, no fucking course you can apply it to Portugal. Like why would you like you know what I mean? Like what you ever fucking see the what's the clip of Trump and someone goes, well, what if Russia does this? Or what if Russia invades the EU? And he's like, well, fuck, what if anything? What if a bomb drops on your head? You know what I mean? It's the same thing. Like, what? You know what I mean? Like, no shit, it'll apply to Portugal. Of course you can, bro. Like, don't even like everyone's gonna come up with like, oh, well, this sounds cool, but that's not gonna apply to me because of this. And everyone thinks they're so special. Everyone thinks that my unique situation is so special and it's not going to work for me. It's going to work for you. I promise it's going to work for you. Yes, it applies to Portugal. It applies to Nigeria. Okay, for the content agency category is offering content is offering organic content management and SMA services no longer attractive. Mark, it is with a guarantee. Got to have a guarantee. For a Dream 100 cold email offer, what are the deliverables we should make for them upfront? Ali, just email them the offer and you'll sign clients with the offer. To do Dream 100, the purpose of needing to do Dream 100 outreach is when just sending them the offer with the guarantee straight up doesn't work. You know what I'm saying? Like Dream 100 outreach is something that you would do if you're selling to like coaches and consultants or some shit. So, what are your thoughts on using AI voice agents for cold calling? That's illegal. You will get a $10,000 fine for every call you do to do that. Those are in the TCPA laws. $10,000 fine per outbound AI cold call, not inbound. They can call you and you can use an AI voice agent. You cannot do an outbound call with an AI voice agent. $10,000 fine every single one you do. I work at 9 to 5. So to save time, I've decided to purchase 4 domains and 3 inboxes and start warming them up for the roofing niche. Since these inboxes are primarily targeted for commercial roofing, should I just go all into other niche? Should I purchase 4 domains and target other niches? You don't need. Why would you need more domains to go after other niches? You don't need to do that. You can. You can use any domain. This is actually interesting. So we have a done for you cold email offer over at Listkit, and one of the huge problems when we sign a client is that we'd need to buy domains for them and warm up the inboxes. Um, that was like a 2 week delay. So like it's a huge problem when you sign a client and it takes 2 weeks for the possibility of results to even start occurring. Like massive, massive issue. So we started buying pre-warmed domains. We just we just have a fucking ton of generic domains and generic inboxes. Like a shit ton of them. Like thousands. And whenever we sign a new client, we just use those. And it works to sign meetings. And some people are like, no, I want them branded. And we tell them, well, okay, you're just going to have to wait 2 weeks then. Or you can start getting results right now because it works. Even in the non-branded domains, completely random bullshit, you send an offer with a guarantee, it works. I own an email agency and manage lists for a few clients in the online education space. I want to stay in the email marketing, but with your points about cold offers and decent niches, would you recommend I pivot to different niches? Yeah, I'd recommend you pivot to SaaS or e-commerce for email marketing. And just random obscure niches as well. For performance-based contracts, do those typically take months before they're paid? No, dude, you can bill a client weekly for performance-based work. Look at how many calls you book them that week. You just bill them on every Friday. Been running an explainer video business for 2.5 and made around 20K total USD with cold emails. I'm getting positive replies, but not sales. I worked very hard on it. Do you think I should switch to cold email lead gen or content agency? Yes, there's a 0% probability you scale a explainer video business. That's an inbound warm traffic offer. You will never sell that to cold. Since you've had 1.5K people in the AI assisted agency program, having all these niches been hammered already doesn't work like that. That's scarcity mindset. You made that up. Hey, I could go on a fucking tirade of that. What I could say is like, yeah, Stefan, they're all saturated. You're not going to get any results. And it's like it's just not true. Like I post a case study every week on my YouTube channel. At what level of evidence convinces you that you made this shit up? You know what I mean? It's just like, you know what I'm saying? It's like it's almost like it's like it's almost like for the past 10 years, people have been saying the stock market is a bubble. It's a bubble. It's a bubble. It's a bubble. It's gonna crash. Every fucking person predicts the U.S. economy is gonna crash in the next year. They've been saying this for fucking 10 straight years, and every retard who believes this shit takes all their money out of their investments. I'm converting to cash, bro. It's all gonna crash, and they've missed out on like 600% returns, and everyone got filthy rich while you sat like all the doomers sat and got inflated away by inflation. They're all now poor. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like at what level of wealth generation does there need to be in front of your face for you to stop being a doomer? You know, you cannot ever operate on that mindset of isn't that saturated? Like nothing is saturated. It's just competitive. It's just competitive. You would just go to a different niche. That's it. You can go into Manus and you could tell it, hey, Daniel gave me these 500 niches. My hypothesis is that they're saturated and I don't think they're going to work, which one is false. But two, say, find me 500 completely distinct ones. Now you get 500 new ones. Are those saturated? I'm sure there's people who have sold into those niches. You know what I mean? It's just like it's actually interesting you say that because I get the same question every single presentation I do in any capacity. I actually get that I get that same question in basically every YouTube video I make too. Um, so it's, and and Sufan, I don't want to sound like I'm angry. It's just like you know what I mean. It's like, bro, don't make that mistake. You know what I mean? It's such a dumb mistake to make. Where it's like, don't let the S&P 500 run up a 10x while you like don't make any money. You know what I mean? Um, Hey, Daniel. So let's say someone doesn't have case studies. They offer pay per performance plus guarantee, right? But mentioned about a guarantee in cold email only. But mentioned about guarantee, but please confirm it. Enjoy. Performance based is a guarantee. It is an implicit guarantee. It's you pay as the result occurs. Minimum budget you'd start with to run ads to get traffic for selling cold email lead gen. Why would you run ads to get a client for cold email lead gen? Just send cold emails. Your CAC will be like $500, probably less. Just sell cold email using cold email. But to answer your question, for anybody who's running ads, your CAC will be $3,000 plus or minus 1,500 for every single B2B offer. This is what it'll be. We made 70K last month. Good stuff. We help coaches run ads on IG to a DM funnel. Our ROAS this month is a little low, 2.5x ROAS and cash collected. Last month it was 7x. And revenue was 14x. We spend roughly 5K a month in ads. We have a low show rate, 50%, and a close rate hanging from 20 to 50%. What would you focus on if you were me? Sean, what I would focus on is for your specific business, you need to. I imagine the coaches you work with, they're never going to make more than like 100 grand a month from a DM funnel. It's too much of a pain in the ass to do. Instagram doesn't even let you have that many messages. The funnel doesn't scale. You need to learn how to build other funnels and sell those funnels to the same clients you have. You need to learn how to make low ticket funnels. And you need to learn how to make webinar funnels, VSL funnels. Like this is shit that you just need to play with, and it's like the DM funnel is just not going to scale. That's not going to happen. Would you keep using guarantees indefinitely? We do 20K MR having strong case studies. We don't use guarantees. Would you say the headache of having guarantees is worth the growth at that stage? Well, Jury, I still have a guarantee on AI assisted agency, and we've had I think 6 refunds out of fucking thousands. That's you know what I mean. You know what I mean. It's really not a lot. It's really not like a problem. If like you get results, it's just not. You know what I mean. It's not really a hassle at a certain point. We don't get to choose what to sell. We sell what sells. So based on what you said here, it's lead generation that sells the most. But you mentioned it isn't the highest ceiling, and the highest ceiling is ads funnels. Just thinking out loud here as a beginner who is starting out, so I can start an agency with the biggest targets ROI to getting rich. Yeah. So, it's just really easy to sign clients for like a cold email offer, for instance, because it's super cheap to run cold email. Ads are very, very expensive. Ads are not what they were 10 years ago. Ads are super expensive, like really, really expensive. It's just easier to get clients. Now, the pipeline from lead generation agency owner to like, let me upsell some of these 50 clients I've sold lead gen. Let me upsell them ads. And then you start learning ads, like, and you have a bunch of clients you got results for with cold email. So now that's warm traffic for you. You're able to sell an ads offer to them with no guarantee because they're warm traffic. And then you get case studies from that. And then you're able to sell cold traffic with the case studies. That's like, that's a pipeline that generally happens with lead gen people. Planning to do an automation agency. Herta was recommended to validate offers and niches via Upwork, other channels before starting cold email. Is this a good idea? What happens? The best way to run an AI automations agency is not outbound. It's making content. What you actually want to do with your outbound, if you're running an AI automation agency, is offer to build shit for people for free. But then what you built, you make LinkedIn posts, X posts, and YouTube videos on what you built and how to build it. And then you make CTAs to, if you want something like this built for you, I'll do it for you. And that's how you get your traffic, is by showing examples of shit that's already been built. We're targeting B2B founders and service-based businesses. Our offer is helping them generate 15 to 20 qualified book calls. within 90 days throughout a combination of LinkedIn personal branding, content creation, lead magnets, LinkedIn DM outreach. The model we're considering is a pay-per booked call structure. One challenge I'm facing is positioning the tech fee. With cold email agencies, it's easy to justify a setup fee because there's visible costs such as domains, inboxes, softwares, lead databases, and technical infrastructure. How would you do it? I would say there's still scheduling software. There's still like AI research tools and shit that you would use. I don't think that you're gonna have a problem positioning that as like to say a $500 tech fee is really it is really not an issue at all when they're on a pay per booked call structure. That is so much of an afterthought. I that you're really just not gonna have too much pushback on that at all. And you're under no obligation to justify what it's for. It's just that's the tech it costs to do this. Like that's just what we pay in tech. You're under zero obligation to sit and itemize it for them. It's not their concern. I own a company that helps UK contractors win more projects through architectural renderings, and tender presentation report. We currently run meta ads targeting London contractors to generate leads. How can I improve our positioning offer so the contracts view us as a revenue generating partner rather than just a rendering company? Nishant, you would say that if you use this rendering software, I'll guarantee you sign X amount more jobs. That's what you'd say. Been running an exploit. You already said that. All right. Do you ever change a client offer? I've worked with clients where I actually had them add a guarantee before, so it'd sell better cold. Do you think that is an uphill battle, or you're better off just working with someone who already has an offer optimized for cold traffic instead of working with them? Yeah, you will often have to change clients and advise them to change their offer. We should always be transparent about like, dude, this is not going to work on cold. Sometimes clients have something that's so unique which they don't need a guarantee because it's so in demand and like there's no supply of it. So like the demand supply is just so outlandishly in their favor that people just buy the fuck out of it. But that's very rare. Um, when you do find that client though, like do your best to get a performance deal with them. Like, holy shit, you will make so much money. Um, would you do performance based for a YouTube content agency? If you're a beginner with zero case studies, yeah. Just started out and this information has been very, very good. Thank you, sir. Do you have any tips for setting up the business platform structures? We'll talk about more about that stuff tomorrow. If we're launching a cold email agency, how can we identify niches that are well suited for cold outreach and evaluate whether their offer is compelling enough to generate replies, meetings, and customers? By following the $15,000 LTV rule and following everything I taught inside of here. It's just making sure that their offer follows that. My problem is that the funnels I build are mostly one-time setups. Once everything is built, it's pretty much done. What do you think would make sense as a retainer offer that the clients would actually find valuable? Scripting, editing new ads for them, and running the ads. How can I leverage client ascension as a total beginner with a recent AI-based startup launched in Dubai? What client ascension is you'll hear more about that on Wednesday, like the actual offer that we're gonna give you guys, because there's special pricing and hella bonuses that we have never done before. So so if you're interested in that, definitely stay for that. Wednesday and Thursday we'll show you guys that. If I just left a high position job that shows on my LinkedIn, but I have zero followers in IG and just started on YouTube, I build quiz funnels. Do I build my credibility as someone who knows data and how companies run until I get some following? I'm not sure how to explain it. Louisa, what you need to do is do some direct outreach and offer to work on a completely performance basis for people, and then actually learn about like funnels and get data from real businesses with real funnels that they're really doing to real audiences for real offers. You get what I'm saying? Like you have nothing to post about until you are doing something. You need to do outreach to get 100% performance-based clients and have something. You know what I'm saying? We're targeting B2B founders and service-based business. All right, yeah, I already read that. I don't understand how to offer a guarantee if I still don't have case studies and proof to back my guarantee. Michael, you just say the guarantee. It's I'll get you this result. These are the stipulations. If you don't get the result, you get a refund. They do or do not take it. That's it. That's how you do it. It's really not that. It's really not more complicated than that at all. Like that is what it is. Like that's what you say. That's how you do it. Those are the mechanics of what you do. Get what I'm saying? Like there's no further complication to this. The entire purpose of a guarantee is to make up for the lack of case studies and proof. Yeah. I don't think you can sell $1,000 services to Nigeria. Oh, yeah, that was back in the. But no. What I was saying with that is that Nigerians successfully do it. There's this dude on Twitter. His name's Brilliant, and he makes landing pages. Guy makes like fucking 20, 30 grand a month. He lives in Nigeria. You can do it from anywhere in the world. All right. Like people like Shad, like if you ever spam the chat again, I'm kicking you out. Stop. Don't post your question 30 times. That's a third worlder activity to do. Don't do that. Be a civilized human. All right. Shad, you've sent that fucking message 30 times. I'm kicking you out. What are your thoughts on home services offer where I let the client use the service for 7 days and based on the results they get, I charge between 1,000 to 2,000 setup and a monthly retainer of 50 to 800 a month. I, in my personal experience and from observing many people attempting to do this, that doing stuff for free for clients very, very rarely results in them paying you money after. It is a very inefficient way to sign. If there is no exchange of dollars, it's a huge problem. It's a big problem if there's no exchange of dollars. They just tend to not pay. Like they just like you send the invoice and they ghost you and shit, and it's like this, you know what I mean? There's just always an issue with it. On any paper result that's dependent on the client closing the inbound lead, wouldn't that take a ton of time to get paid? Sales cycles are rarely quick. Yeah, well, that's why a lot of times you do it on per call booked instead. Now, say for instance, a client starts objecting back to you and saying like, well, why not per deal closed? And it's like because I'm executing my labor and my capital and resources to get you the call booked, and you're going to have to pay for the calls anyway on an ad platform. You're already doing that. And I don't want to depend my income on your ability to close. I want to depend my income on my ability to book meetings. How do you keep track of performance-based work and get paid every week? Well, if you're using like a sending software to send emails and you're setting the appointments for them, you set the appointment. Like just throw it in the Google sheet. I set this appointment with this person with this email. And then at the end of the week, here's how many happened this week. I'm going to auto charge your card. Don't mean this in a bad way, but would you still like cold email as much if you didn't have a software company for it? Just bringing this up since I haven't heard of it before. Yeah, I would, because all the people running cold email don't use ListKit. for cold email. They do the shit where like ListKit is not for them. None of the people inside of Client Ascension use ListKit. They do like email scrapers and shit from I don't know, whatever the fuck softwares. They do like mass purchasing domains from other, and we teach how to do this, by the way. We don't, it's not like inside of Client Ascension. It's like, all right, well, here's the cold email section, and here's how you use the ListKit. It's like, it's well, here's how you do it without ListKit. Like, this is how you would go about it without using ListKit. They don't use it. So yes, the answer is I would feel that same way about cold email if I didn't own a software company. I don't. ListKit isn't for you guys. It's for large companies who exclusively buy like done for you stuff. It isn't for you guys. You guys are do it yourself buyers. You're people who like to be educated. You like to know how to do the thing. That product is not for you. So like I'll give you for instance, ListKit is like relaunching like a 2.0 offer where it's going to allow you to have the domains and the inboxes and the sending and the leads all in one platform. And I was talking about that on one of my coaching calls, and one of the guys was like, have you considered like exposing the whole database? I was like, no, I haven't considered exposing the whole database so you can scrape it. Like it's not for you. Like this product is not for you to scrape my database. Like that's not what this is. And he's like, oh, okay. Like it's not for you. You get what I'm saying? There are 30 million plus businesses in the USA. How many do you need to close for it to not be saturated? I don't think I understand that question. So basically, any of these front end offers are capable enough to work if you just outreach the boring niches, right? Okay, this is kind of what seems to not be clocking to a substantial amount of you guys in here. A lot of shit can be turned into a cold traffic offer if if it makes them money, if it gets them leads, if it gets them calls booked, and you put a guarantee on it. It's probably a cold traffic offer, more than likely. Probably. It's that simple. It is not more complicated than you are promising them a specific result and you're slapping a guarantee or performance basis on it. You are more than likely a cold traffic offer. I have 3 to 4 solid case studies, including a public company that have gotten by partnering up with my co-founder for his offer. We have SDRs that have 8 to 12 years of experience, and they do cold calling for our clients' offers on the side with their job. I cannot really offer SDR placement as a service like what you guys do at ListKit, but I would like to potentially offer this maybe like a retainer of some sort. Right now, I'm planning to do this as a small monthly tech fee to cover the data and the dialer and 300 to 400 per appointment that shows up. What do you think? So, Afan, we don't sell SDR placements at ListKit. We sell done for you cold calling. And it's managed SDR services. This is what we call it for that category of person. It's managed SDR services. And we charge them a retainer. We charge $6,000 a month for 1,000 dials a day plus 1,000 cold emails a day. But if you wanted to charge it on a per call booked, yeah, you could also do that. That would also work. So basically, as a beginner, I should start with the lead gen agency like cold email and have a pay on performance offer, like a book calls with you and you only pay for them, basically, right? Yes, right. Should I say I send X amount of emails? No, that's you don't say you send X amount of emails in the headline. It's just performance-based lead generation. You only pay for the calls that I book you. Do you think the people saying you have 2 years to make money before AI takes over forever, blah 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 blah, is even the slightest bit true? Well, Ollie, let's go back to the McDonald's analogy where it's like when every McDonald's becomes automated by AI, What still needs to occur? Well, there's a person selling the AI software to McDonald's. Yeah. The AI bots to McDonald's. There's a person who needs to manage the McDonald's, right? That's what you as a that's what the equivalent of an agency service is. It's like, okay, yeah, you got all this AI shit, but it's like the biggest misconception people have about like AI stuff is you think that you just plug AI into a business and it just works. Shit breaks all the time. Everything breaks all the time. Like for anyone who's never run a software company, you might think that like, oh, you just write code and it just works forever. Like it does not work like that. For some reason, I don't even know how this could be mathematically possible, but it fucking breaks every day. Something goes wrong every single day. I have no clue how it's even possible that that occurs. So, like, I use Zapier, for instance, for a lot of automations and like Claude Code, and I have like hella shit set up. Fucking somehow there's a new Zap that's like, oh, there's an error running on this app. But how? It's worked for 8 months. Why is it? What is the issue? Like, how could that possibly even happen? That's what running AI systems is. It fucking breaks. So you don't just like hand something to someone and it just works forever. Somebody needs to manage it. Somebody who knows and has the knowledge to manage it needs to manage it. You know what I'm saying? Okay, to distill today's lessons, Daniel, what would you do to get your first 1,000 in the next 30 days? It had zero case studies. Um, if you have $0, I would go manually find people on LinkedIn every day and use one of the AI tools to find their email addresses and send manual outreach messages with an offer for a performance based offer, probably with like a tech fee, every single day for like 6 hours a day. You'd probably get like 1,000 messages out. If you had like 300 or 400 bucks to spend, I'd spin up a bunch of domains and inboxes, scrape a giant lead list, um, and send a shit ton of emails with a performance based offer. And that's what's like, that's why I need to like reiterate to everyone here. It's like, and this happens all the time. You want me to come up with some magic fucking spell that's gonna negate the fact that you don't have to do a performance base or a guarantee in the beginning. Okay, I want to make this very clear. That is the magic spell. The magic spell is is offering it on performance basis or guarantee until you have case studies. That's the magic spell. There is no other magic spell that you will ever come across in your life that will work. People will try to sell you a magic spell that claims to be able to do that. It will not work. I assure you it won't. There is a 0% probability it will work. You will lose your money chasing this elusive magic spell that I have already given you. You know what I'm saying? I've given you the key. You are refusing to use the key because it requires something uncomfortable of you. And for as long as you are unwilling to be uncomfortable, you will be poor and you will never make any progress ever. I want to make that extremely abundantly clear to everybody in here because months will pass, years will pass. Many of you will absolutely refuse to ever have a guarantee or work on a performance basis in order to get case studies. You will go your entire life resisting against this. You will watch me post a new case study of somebody making 20,000 or 30,000 or 50,000 or $100,000 a month on my YouTube, and you will think, what magic spell are they running? And you will not understand that I have already given it to you and you refuse to use it because you refuse to be uncomfortable for even a fucking fraction of a second. Does that make sense to everybody? You need to do what I'm saying because it works. It just does. I would prefer you get results. If you don't do what I'm saying, you're not going to get results. Like everything I put in the presentation, I didn't put in there for fuck all no reason. Like it's there because it works. You know how long that shit took me to make? And like, yeah, I've done this challenge twice before, so it's significantly less ever than the last ones. But when I first made this, it took me like 40 hours to make this fucking presentation. It's like a lot of shit. You know what I'm saying? Like it works. Like you have to listen to what I'm saying. Like that just is what works. Honestly, Daniel Ranting was worth $67 a one. All right, cool. Yeah, nice. Good stuff. All right, hold on. I gotta. Okay. I help beginner online coaches get clients, but I want to attract more financially qualified beginners who can comfortably invest into a 10K program. How would you adjust the messaging, positioning, or qualification process to attract beginners with more income, savings, credit, or disposable income? Sean, you won't be able to do it with outbound marketing. You have to do it with ads, and you have to do it with education-based funnels. Um, so like everyone here, like like you're all in a funnel right now. Like the purpose of the AI business challenge is to upsell you to AI assisted agency, right? This is an education based funnel. It's not like a direct offer funnel. It's like you guys are going to learn a lot. Like I'm going to try to do my best to give you as much value as possible so you could use just this product alone to get results. Now, some of you guys will buy the offer that we present. Some of you won't. And but maybe like 6 months later you will, and that's fine. But all of you guys are financially qualified beginners. Um, and that's because what you purchased fundamentally is education based. It's like a class. You came here to learn. All of you, by the nature of you being here, have a severely higher probability of being rich than the average client you will sell to. And I want to explain why. The average client you will sell to, they're a done for you buyer, and they'll never buy a course, they'll never buy coaching, they'll never do anything to improve anything about themselves ever in their life. You guys are all by definition self-improvers. So therefore, you all just by nature just have a wildly higher probability of being financially successful because you take responsibility of your education, right? Okay, so what happens is when the funnel itself only attracts those people. So like who would buy an AI business challenge ticket? It's it's anybody who wants to improve themselves. And those people tend to be more financially qualified. So that's the answer, is to have funnels that offer training um and education. That's how you do it. I signed up for this seminar out of curiosity with a limited general knowledge of AI. I understand the concept of lead gen. What is the advice for someone that has no experience with SEO, AI build outs, etc.? Where do I start? Tomorrow, that's a class. We're gonna show like actually like building stuff with AI. Like then you'll start to get the concept of like the production of things. You know what I'm saying? I'm charging $750 per month for SEO and Google Ads management. How do I increase my pricing? I'm serving 5 clients in the US. Um, so site there's um the way you increase pricing is by deliverable stacking, like what I talked about earlier in here. Next is having bigger case studies, and two is having a guarantee. All those three things will allow you to increase your pricing. When are we getting this doc? In the email I send after this. You'll get it. To get clients to do free work for, I assume I do Dream 100, do the whole offer plus guarantee plus tell them no money in exchange for a case study. Well, so you don't need to Dream 100 refers to like making a deliverable for them. Just send the offer first and see if they accept it and see if that outreach works. And if that outreach is not working, then you could do Dream 100 where you make a deliverable up front. Okay, so someone says, I know this is only to host and panelists, but I did so to ask you to not put my name out there. Okay, I won't. For this question, since most people will ask why I want to do this versus being a lawyer blows. I built a webinar funnel and everything using Claude Code since I just launched my own firm. And doing this was way more engaging than trying to convince people that they should do their estate planning. Do you think I should start an agency now while I build myself as a case study, or should I build myself as a case study first, then start outreaching and doing this as an agency once I show it works for myself, assuming I'm not a retard and can make it work, leading towards just doing both since an agency can do cold outreach where I can as a lawyer. Um, yeah, no, do both at the same time because you already have the credibility of being a lawyer. Say, hey, I also run this firm over here, and I actually built this whole funnel for this webinar over here, and I can build the same for you. There's familiarity there because it's, hey, I am you. You know what I'm saying? I've done over 300 million views organically for clients, mostly short form, obviously, and ran profitable ads on multiple campaigns. But I've operated heavily from referrals in my network. Fortunate enough to have a lot of opportunity in that realm. I've done hundreds of thousands in sales for clients from organic. Since I have so much success with organic content, it's even worthwhile to run ads for myself if I've had so much success organic. Well, if you can make really good organic content yourself, like yeah, definitely do that first because it's going to be substantially cheaper than running ads for sure. Yeah, so what Jacob said over here, I tried 30-day free trials, and yeah, they don't pay even if you do good work. What we were talking about earlier. Yeah, they legit like don't pay. They just don't. What would be your go-to ads funnels offer as a beginner? Um, what would be the deliverables? VSL funnel, probably for a B2B company, not like an info coaching or business. It would be you make the funnel, the VSL, the editing the VSL, the ad scripts, editing the ads, making the statics, running the ads for them, the email automations, text automations. Um, what else should you consider before taking up a final offer, like the factors you should give to go through before the finalization of an offer? Just would you buy it? Like ask yourself that question. Would you buy that? Or would you be like, I'm not buying that? What the fuck? Our client offers also has to be new money plus guarantee performance plus case studies. Sometimes. Yeah, generally. Should I have a business name, logo, website, etc. when starting zero? I mean, you can, but you just make that AI. Like we'll talk about that tomorrow. That's fine. What does client onboarding look like? We'll talk about that tomorrow. That's a tomorrow question. Tomorrow's class. Gary, it's called Client Essential, but just look up Daniel Fazio in your emails. Uh, what do you think? What's the biggest mistake you see people make when they try to sell funnel building services? Um, you start with no guarantee. You're going to sign zero clients if you don't have a guarantee. Do all guarantees need to be quantifiable in monetary terms? What about if you deliver images? Yeah. Okay. So yes, it needs to be quantifiable in terms of results. Not like imagine you go to the grocery store and you're buying a carton of eggs and it says, if you buy this carton of eggs, we'll guarantee that you get 12 eggs. It's like, what? It doesn't make any sense. It's just it's now if it said like you buy this carton of eggs, we'll guarantee that you increase your bench press after you eat them. Like, oh, okay, no, it's you know what I mean? Now you're saying something. Like, so no, yeah, it has to be a quantifiable in result. Is a guarantee such as I help you book calls in your calendar in the first 30 days of running your ads or you don't pay. Sean, would you buy that? An undisclosed amount of calls? What does that mean? One call? I pay you $4,000. You book me one call. Again, like we can't treat the prospect like a retard. Like we have to stop treating the prospect like a retard. Please. Like if you got that cold email, what are you saying? Like, you're telling them to go fuck themselves. Like what does that mean? One call? You know what I'm saying? You mentioned learning how to run ads and write ad scripts for my funnel building agency. If I were starting from scratch today, what would you focus on learning first, and who would you learn it from? Direct response copywriting. I'm going to talk about this on Thursday. But you learn direct response copywriting. There's Gary Halbert, Claude Hopkins. Just go into ChatGPT and ask who are the most famous direct response copywriters. All of them. And what are the most famous direct response copywriting books? And you'll get them all. Sean says, I hear you, but just to play devil's advocate, if you're using funnels that give free training, doesn't that also just attract a bunch of freebie seekers? No, one of our best performing funnels right now in cold traffic is a free training funnel for AI assisted agency. I'm spending like $1,000 a day on that funnel, and it's working very well. My biggest hang up has been setting up infrastructure with limited funds. Any advice? Yeah, do it manually if you don't have any funds. And then when you sign a client, that's the purpose of the $500 tech fee. And yeah, if you're talking about like website or something like that, like this, it's like $20. It's not, you know what I mean? Do you think running ads to a live workshop would be significantly harder than running ads to a direct offer call funnel? Um, it depends what the offer is. If it's a B2B offer, direct call is better. But if it's like a B2C business opportunity, workshop is better. But I hate webinars so much. Like free webinar. I hate them. I think they're the worst thing ever. Um, it's also because I'm just not good at them. But those are the retard freebie seekers you speak about because then you have to interact with them. I don't have to do that on an opt-in free training funnel. So I hate them. I hate those so much. I never want to do one ever again. These are fine though because you guys paid money. So it's like it automatically sifted out any kind of like profuse third worldery there. Um, Okay. How to charge on performance basis when you are having supposedly a content agency or an automation agency? Like, can you give an example of how it's going to look like along with the guarantee? Well, with an AI automation agency, you're really not going to be using outbound, like I said earlier. So you should go back in the recording and watch where I said that. Where so you don't do that with an AI automation agency. With a content agency, it's just guaranteeing X amount of views or guaranteeing X amount of leads that are generated or guaranteeing I'll get you 1 million views or you don't pay. Something like that. I also use that as an example inside of the class. So you'll see that in the Gamma doc. Oh, you were saying how to charge on performance basis. Um, well, you could do it per call booked. My current client acquisition is mostly their Dream 100 list. I redesigned their hero section to send a personalized loom, but it's pretty time consuming. How would you make this more efficient without losing the personal touch? Well, you probably need to AI it in some way, Cornell. But it's I mean, is your offer like web design? Because that's not a good offer. You know, you might literally get more calls booked by just not doing that and just sending in text-based offer with a guarantee on it. All right, guys, I'm gonna do a couple more questions. Uh, with my offer, what should I do in the Dream 100 outreach? Just 3 to 5 posts, create a lead magnet. Your offer is helping B2B businesses generate 15 to 20 qualified close 90 days, money back guarantee. All right, so Kushagra, if that's your offer, 15 to 20 qualified calls but guaranteed or their money back, just say that in the outreach message. Just say it. That'll probably work by itself. And if it doesn't, then you can do Dream 100 where you create something for them. In which case, okay, so you do LinkedIn personal branding, graphic and content design, content creation, lead magnets, and LinkedIn DM outreach. That's a lot of different stuff. Use AI to make an example for them and send it to them. Don't tell them it was made by AI, but just pick one of those. The literal deliverable that you sell, just make one of those and give it to them. And then you would test, well, sending what deliverable works better? Is me sending an example lead magnet work better? Does me sending an example of LinkedIn post work better? Does me sending an example of like graphic designs for them work better? You just test it and you see which one converts higher. So your highest converting funnel is an ad to a landing page to pay you to join a live workshop like this, and you're spending no, Sean, it's free. It's hold on, let me show you. Resume. Hold on. This is what it looks like. Free training, how to sell AI services to businesses, replace full-time income by only working 20 to 25 hours a week. Name, email, phone number. This is the URL of that. I spend I think over $1,000 a day on this now. And our cost to acquire somebody on this is like $2,000. I just started posting YouTube videos targeting a specific niche, agent outreach wholesalers. I have a background in this niche. I posted one video, already got a call book from it. How do I turn content into a consistent inbound lead source as fast as possible? So what I do, Jacob, and I want to talk about this on my my on my thing on Thursday, but I take everything I've ever said and get it automatically stored as files onto my computer. And then I have a recurring task in Claude to make what's called the Master Lessons of Daniel Fazio. And what that is like 80 pages of just like shit I say, like lessons and principles I teach. And whenever I need to make content, I just open that up and pick one and then do it. And that's how I come up with content. And a lot of that is repeating myself over and over and over again. A lot of making content is repeating yourself, just saying it a different way, or just showing examples of what you talk about. When doing performance-based lead gen, how do you set up a payment structure in a way so the client doesn't run away after the first 7 to 10 calls? By having the tech fee. So you've captured their card info and then you auto charge the amount of calls booked every week. How long do you run the money back guarantee for a client? 2 months after they accept it's working? Just whatever amount is written in the contract. You can write a contract where it's like it's month to month where they can only get the previous 30 days payments. They can't get all the payments refunded. How do you determine how many calls booked per time or any performance guaranteed metric? Um, it needs to be an amount that is impressive to the level of person you're speaking to. So like if you sent me like, hey Daniel, I'll guarantee you book 10 calls a month. I'd be like, dude, I book 10 calls like every 4 hours. Like I have a sales team of 11 people, 11 closers. I can't like I don't that's like not enough. I need like 100. I need 100 meetings. So I would never respond to like a 10 meetings guarantee. It's not worth my time. But I would respond to someone who said something like, Daniel, I worked with your competitor and I've been booking him 400 meetings a month. I'm like, oh, that's interesting to me. And then I'm the kind of person who could pay like 30 or 40, $50,000 a month. So like that's what you have to say to me for that amount of money. Yeah, so if you're trying to charge more money, the claim of what you're promising needs to go up. Because if you want to charge $5,000, the only people who are gonna pay $5,000 are people who make like $100,000 a month. And people who make $100,000 a month probably want like at least 20 calls a month. You know what I mean? Like five is not gonna cut it. 10 is not gonna cut it. Love the red lights. Yeah, I automatically turn on red lights during sunset. Yeah, Sean, I'll show you that setup on Thursday. How new test niches? I do like 20 outreach a day for 5 niches. Drew, there's no right answer. There is no right answer. The correct statistically significant answer would be me to tell you to send like 1,000. Like, but it's just spew shit at the wall and see what happens. But shouldn't the guarantee metric also be something I can realistically hit? Well, yeah. Okay. Well, if you make that argument, then okay, you're never going to sign a $10,000 a month client if you can't book somebody 20 or 30 calls. So you better learn how to hit that realistically. You better go find consulting or courses or whatever to figure out how to do that. Because if you don't do that, you're never going to be able to get someone to pay you $10,000. You can sign $2,000 clients or $1,000 clients and book them 3 sales calls, and that's just what you're going to be stuck with forever. I was trying to make the explainer business work for 2.5 years. Do do you suggest me upselling your packaging cold email with explainer videos, deliverable stack? Dude, you're not gonna get explainer video clients. It's not gonna happen. Like it's just stop trying to sell it. Just don't put any effort into it at all. There's a 0% probability you ever make that work ever. Just if you happen to have a cold email lead gen client and you say, hey, I can make an explainer video, and they're like, oh, sure, yeah, I'll buy that, then that's fine. But stop trying to actively get explainer video clients. It's not going to happen. There's a 0% chance that works for you. Um, all right, guys, I'm fucking gassed, and you want to believe that my fucking heartburn still hurts? It's crazy. I'm just powering through this. I'm never taking tirzepatide ever again in my life. Holy shit, sucks. Literally the worst thing ever. You want to know how many calories I've had today too? Because I literally can't eat. Hold on. This is how many calories I've had. It's 8 p.m. right now. I've had 536 calories. I feel like shit. It fucking sucks. I'm gonna try to eat after this. Yeah, 500 is insane. I'm gonna be, dude. In January I weighed 181 pounds in January. Um, this morning I weighed 158 pounds. But all right, I want to give a caveat for this though. If you, it's not, I'm not in danger levels. If you go look at the YouTube video I posted today, like you see my full physique. I have muscle. I'm stronger at 158 pounds. down from 180. All my lifts are up. I track every single thing let me fucking pull this up real quick. I think this is just a random thing I want to show you. Okay. Give me 1 second. Okay. Here we go. Does everyone see my notes here? Okay, so I have these gym logs. So gym log Q4 2024, gym log Q1 2025, gym log Q2 2025, Q3 2025, Q4 2025, Q1 2026, Q2 2026. Okay. I write down every single workout I do. All of them since 2024. All of the shit gets written down. I've been doing this for a minute. Why? Because the only way you make any progress is through progressive overload. Okay. You can't make progress unless you track what you're doing. So when you are sending outreach messages, you need to write down what you did. And like I track my calories. Why? Because if my body is not physiologically responding, I need to know what are the inputs I put into it. You don't remember how many outreach messages you sent. You don't know. So now what happens in situations like this, this actually happens all the fucking time. I'll get people who will come to my coaching calls in Client Ascension and they'll say some shit like, dude, it's just the most incredible level of trying to offload the responsibility. I had a guy who was like, he came up, he's like angry. And the calls are not normally like this. I just complained about the bag. Normally the calls are awesome and everyone's like just really cool and getting like good results and shit. But there's this one guy who came in angry, killed the whole fucking vibe of the thing. And I hate when this happens. He was like, I'm doing what you're saying. I'm not getting any results. And I'm like, oh yeah? Pull up your. I was like, what are you doing? He goes, I'm sending cold emails. I was like, where? He goes, instantly. I'm like, all right, pull up your instantly. You pull up his instantly. I'm like, how many emails you sent? He goes, at least 10,000 by now. I'm like, all right, pull this shit up. We pull it up. It was like fucking 400. Guy sent like 400 emails. I was like, yeah, get fucked. I was like, go fuck yourself. Like, what a like this the sheer level of cognitive dissonance to not only show up angry to the call and blame me, but to not even take responsibility and just outright lie. It's like, and what I'm trying to convey by sharing that is like, there's just so many situations, guys, where you need to stop deluding yourself. Like, you need to take full ownership of what is going to happen in your life. Like, if you don't get results with like trying to build this business, it's your fault. It is. Nobody is ever going to care about making sure that you have a successful business as much as you are. There's a 0% probability that happens ever. No, nobody cares as much as you are going to. It is your responsibility. All right, that's it for me, guys. I'm gonna send the recording over when it's ready. It's probably gonna take like 2 hours to buffer and load up. Thanks everybody for coming. Appreciate it. Come tomorrow. Everybody come tomorrow. You're gonna learn about you're gonna see cool AI shit. It's gonna be very useful. And then come the next day and the next day as well. It's showing up live is profusely better. It's there's just a different aura. There's a different essence to it. It gets injected into your veins like more efficiently. It just does. Like watching it back does not do the same thing. It doesn't. Live is better. That's why we do it live, by the way, and they're not like pre-recorded and shit because it works like way better. Because I could totally play this off as if it's pre-recorded, but it's not. But, all right, cool. So, all right, peace, lads. Have a good one. See you tomorrow.